Chapter 1257. Then I won't stand on ceremony. At the thought of becoming an earl, William couldn't help but feel a little excited. He held Li Fan's left arm, looked at it, and wiped it again and again, as if he had found a treasure. Hey, that's enough. If you want to suck it, hurry up. Li Fan was a little impatient. Okay, I'll use it now. William opened his mouth, and the teeth in his cheeks revealed his fangs. He bit Li Fan's wrist, causing Li Fan to feel a little pain. He could feel his skin being pierced, and his blood was starting to be sucked away by William. It felt like he had been pricked by needles in the past. Ugh! William's eyes lit up with a red glow, as if something was growing rapidly. He let go of Li Fan's arm, then took 2 steps back and half knelt on the ground. His body was faintly emitting a blood-red glow. So painful, William's veins were bulging on his face, and he looked very upset. Li Fan frowned. This was the first time he had seen such a situation, and he didn't know what to do. Do you need me to call an ambulance for you? Li Fan looked at William's pained expression and thought for a long time before squeezing out this sentence. No, it's okay. I'll get better. William's face was pale as he replied to Li Fan, I need some time. William looked like he was really in pain. But there was an indescribable glow of excitement in his eyes, as if this was the moment he wanted the most. Suddenly, a pair of black wings grew out from William's back. The wings broke through William's skin and clothes, struggling out. They were like the wings of a bat, and they weren't very good-looking. They looked a little hideous. Li Fan stood there, observing the changes in William's body. He stared intently, afraid to miss any details. The bloody glow on William's body was getting stronger and stronger. Fortunately, this was a secret chamber, and no light could seep through. Otherwise, it would bring them some unnecessary trouble. William, how do you feel? This state lasted for about 10 minutes, and finally, William had no strength left. He could only lie on the ground and twitch. The wings on his back also drooped on the ground, as if they had lost their strength. Much better. William didn't have much strength in his speech, but the pain seemed to have lessened. Li Fan didn't know if the pain had lessened or if he had become numb to it. How much do you feel your strength has grown? Li Fan asked. A lot. Your blood is very powerful. I've already surpassed the rank of Count. I'm now evolving towards the rank of Marquis. Marquis? That sounds pretty strong. Li Fan rubbed his chin and fell into deep thought. It seemed like he really did have the blood of a dragon in his body. Otherwise, it would be impossible for a vampire to grow so much. Mr. Li. You're really too strong. I can feel my own growth. This is like a dream. Even a rocket wouldn't be this fast. William was very happy. The dragon's blood had helped him a lot. He had actually gone from a viscount to a marquis in an instant. He had crossed an entire rank. Li Fan knew that William was fine, so he sat at the side and enjoyed the black tea that William had prepared beforehand. The black tea abroad was a little different from the ones in China. The way they drank tea here was similar to drinking coffee, often with sugar and other flavorings. However, this drinking method had started to become popular in China. Many coffee shops had introduced Earl black tea, lemon tea, milk tea, and the like. The Chinese were also very happy to drink them. William's black tea wasn't bad. Li Fan sipped his tea while observing William's situation. After more than half an hour, William was already sweating all over. He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead as he slowly got up. Mr. Li. I'm fine now, how is it? Marquis. Approaching the rank of Duke. William was very excited. Mr. Li, your blood is really too good. If there's a chance, please let me drink a little more. Fuck, I'm not your blood thrall. Just a little is enough. Li Fan glared at William. It's indeed a little addictive, William laughed mischievously. Besides, making me stronger is also helpful to you. How about this, during the period of rescuing Lil Wan, can Mr. Li provide me with some blood? Alright. You greedy fellow. The other party was his ally after all. Making him stronger would also be beneficial. Mr. Li. Have you ever considered becoming a vampire? William asked as he wiped his face clean. Are you kidding me? Why would I want to be a bat instead of a human? Li Fan rolled his eyes. Mr. Li. Lil Wan and I are both vampires. It's not very appropriate for you to say that, that's true. But I really haven't considered becoming a vampire. Li Fan rejected William's suggestion. What's so good about living in the darkness? Being a vampire is a kind of glory, and it comes with endless life. You even complained to me before, saying that this is a curse. Li Fan looked askance at William. Young man, isn't your worldview changing a little too fast? Cough cough. I've become a little stronger, so my confidence has also increased. William looked at Li Fan. Mr. Li, do you want to spar with me and test my strength? Sure, I'll go easy on you. As Li Fan spoke, he put one hand in his pocket and beckoned William with the other. Make your move. Mr. Li. Don't underestimate the power of a marquis. William seemed a little unconvinced. He suddenly stretched out his right hand, and a blood-red chain immediately flew out, instantly wrapping around Li Fan's body. William wanted to tug at the chain, but he found that Li Fan's legs seemed to be rooted to the ground. He stood there steadily, and his own chain could not move at all. William was a little surprised. His chain had always been successful. When he was a viscount, he could pull a cow with his chain. Now that he was a marquis, his strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. He could even pull a dozen cows, but he couldn't move Mr. Li. It seemed that this Mr. Li was indeed an expert. Is that all? Li Fan asked. William was also helpless. Mr. Li, you're too strong, other than this, there's nothing else. Only super speed and bullet time are left. What? Bullet time? Li Fan was shocked. There's such an ability. Yes, every vampire above Marquis has the ability of bullet time. The stronger they are, the slower the bullet time. But because it belongs to dark magic, it can only be used at night. What about those above Marquis? What abilities do they have? Dukes have the grip of darkness. William introduced. Dukes are even more powerful. Their ability is. Chapter 1258. Grand Dukes can summon undead servants. William said enviously, princes can transform into real royalty. As for the queen, I heard that she is extremely powerful, and her ability is nightfall. As long as the queen is here, the blood breeds are almost invincible. Sounds pretty powerful. Li Fan nodded after knowing the ability of the blood breeds. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Even if Li Fan is strong, there is always someone better. If he is too confident, he will be easily defeated. Why don't you show me your bullet time? Well, how do I show this? William thought for a moment and pointed to the cup beside Li Fan. Li Fan felt his vision change, and then William was quickly approaching him. But he also has a little bullet time ability, and he could clearly see that William was quickly approaching him, and at the same time, his hand reached for the cup beside him. William was full of confidence, and he seemed to be a little proud. At this time, Li Fan used force, broke William's chain, and then took the cup in his hand. Huh? William stopped and looked at the cup in Li Fan's hand in disbelief. Your bullet time is quite useful. Li Fan took the cup and did not forget to praise him. William was a little depressed, but he also understood that Li Fan was deliberately killing his spirit. He wanted to let himself understand that regardless of evolving into Earl or Marquis, his strength was still far from his. Mr. Li is too strong, no wonder he is the guardian of China, he should be the strongest man in China. Mr. Li, William could not help but ask, are you the strongest in China? This, I have to disappoint you, I am really not. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. There are many people in China who are stronger than me. China is too scary. William swallowed his saliva, but it is full of mystery. I still want to meet these experts. Ha, not everyone is as easy to talk to as me. Li Fan laughed. Once a person is too strong, it will be accompanied by the desire to rule. I believe that. This is the deep-rooted bad habit of humans. Don't you blood breeds do the same? It's all right. At least for now, the blood breeds only want to consolidate their living space. All right, have a good rest tonight. There might be a big battle tomorrow. Li Fan was also tired. After coming to the United States, he had not been idle. Then have a good rest, but it's not convenient to stay here. I've arranged a 5-star hotel for you. All right, I'll be troubling you then. Under William's arrangement, Li Fan stayed in a luxurious hotel nearby. As expected, William's arrangements were not bad. He got a presidential suite for Li Fan. Mr. Li, the facilities of this hotel are very complete. William winked at Li Fan. You can find whatever you want here. Ah. What do I want? Li Fan didn't quite understand. There are a lot of hot chicks here. William chuckled. We have them in every country. You can play however you like. I'll pay for all the expenses. Forget it. I don't have that hobby. There were all kinds of beauties in Li Fan's house. He wouldn't be interested in the game outside. You don't have to be shy, Mr. Li. Just treat this place as your own home. I'm not interested. Li Fan reiterated. Then, I understand. William seemed to have understood something. Then have a good rest. I've prepared everything properly for you. All right. You should go back and sleep. Li Fan waved his hand. I'm going to sleep too. Yes. I understand. William placed a credit card on the table. This card is for you. I'll pay for all your expenses here. Thank you very much. Li Fan didn't object. He even helped William increase his strength. This wasn't something that could be exchanged for with money. Then I won't disturb your rest. Have a sweet dream. Oh right. Help me order something to eat. I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm hungry. All right. Leave it to me. After William finished, he went out with a smile. Li Fan wasn't sleepy yet. He went to take a shower first. When he was in the bathroom, he heard the door being opened. Perhaps he's here to deliver food. Li Fan muttered. Sir, are you taking a shower? Sure enough, someone began to knock on the bathroom door. From the sound, it was a man. Li Fan was applying bath lotion on his body. He responded. Do you need me to help you, sir? The man outside asked again. Li Fan began to mutter. Could it be that this 5-star hotel had a rubbing service? No need. I'll do it myself. However, Li Fan wasn't used to others rubbing him. Just leave it in the living room. I'll do the rest myself. Li Fan took another shower before putting on a pair of underwear and walking out. In the end, a handsome blonde man was sitting on the sofa in the living room. He was looking at a small mirror and trimming his nose hair. Li Fan looked at him and was silent for a while. Sir, you're out. This handsome little brother was wearing a leopard print leather coat, showing a different kind of sexy and enchanting feeling. How do you want to play? Do I fuck you or you fuck me? The veins on Li Fan's forehead twitched. What do you mean, isn't this the service that you've booked? The handsome man blew a kiss at Li Fan. Don't worry. I'm waiting for you. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. A minute later, the bruised blonde man was thrown out of the room. Li Fan called William and flew into a rage. Mr. Li. I see that you're not interested in women. I thought you liked men. Yes, I like men, but I'm not interested in ordinary people. When you come, I'll fuck your ass until it's rotten. On the other side of the phone, William subconsciously covered his buttocks. I'm not into that, get lost. If I'm not into women, how could I like Lu Wan her? You idiot. You're right. William reacted. Then I'll arrange 2 pretty girls for you. Fuck off. I'm here to look for Wan, not to mess around with women. If you make any more arrangements, I'll fuck your ass. Yes. I understand, Mr. Lee. Then have a good rest. I won't disturb you anymore. William also wanted to slap himself a few times. How could he have forgotten about this? He didn't expect that a capable person like Mr. Lee would be so devoted to Lu Wan, I'm so envious of Wan, to have a man like him. William sighed and put down the phone. Everything was ready. All that was left was to wait for tomorrow. Chapter 1259. William. You filthy bastard, where did you run off to? The next day, as soon as Li Fan was picked up by William, he heard a familiar roar coming from outside. Listen, he's here. William smiled. Mr. Lee, I'll trouble you to stand at the side and pretend to be my blood thrall. As he spoke, William handed over the syringe. Li Fan nodded. Everything was for Lu Wan, He stood beside the sofa and injected the syringe into his body. William's blood was temporarily effective. Li Fan felt that the sunlight outside was slightly dazzling, and it was accompanied by waves of inexplicable hunger. William had said that when one pretended to be a blood thrall, they would temporarily possess the same characteristics as vampires. Although they were not afraid of sunlight and could not drink blood, they would have this feeling out of nowhere. If one were to describe it, it could be described as a kind of immersive simulation of vampires. Simulating vampires. The corner of Li Fan's mouth rose slightly. Interesting. He threw away the syringe and stood at the side like a statue. William picked up the tray and wine and placed them in Li Fan's hands. Since he was a blood thrall, it was better to pretend to be one. The door of the villa was kicked open, and Sam, with a bald head, rushed in aggressively. William, are you making a fool of me? Sam cursed the moment he entered. You actually said you got Alba's head? It's only been a day, how did you get it, you bastard? If I find out that you're using someone else's head as a disguise, I'll twist your head off. He only glanced at Li Fan and ignored him. Vampires had a natural sense towards blood thralls. Don't be impatient. William was unhurried. He reached out, picked up a glass box from under the table, and placed it on top. Sam's eyes widened when he saw it. It really was Alba. How did you do it? Sam was about to come over and take the head, but William raised his foot and put it on top of the head. Sorry, Sam. I killed Alba, so naturally I'll hand him over to the Grand Duke. Filthy guy, I think you're crazy. Sam was enraged. He waved his hand and whipped a crimson whip at William. If it was the old William, he would definitely have been beaten up by him. But it was different today. William had evolved, and his power had increased tremendously. William stretched out his hand and grabbed the whip. Sam was shocked. He pulled the whip, but it didn't budge. Sam only had the strength of an earl, so he was naturally helpless against a marquis who was a rank higher than him. When did you, kneel? With a tug from William, Sam stumbled and fell to his knees in front of him. I'm a 6th-generation blood kindred. How dare you, a 7th-generation blood kindred, be so rude to me? Don't you know the rules? William's words had become more forceful. Sam knelt there, not daring to make a sound. William and Lu Wanner belonged to the 6th generation because they were born from the 5th generation. Sam was a 7th-generation blood kindred. He was transformed from a 6th-generation blood kindred. Therefore, his status should be lower than William's. But in the Parker family, there were strict requirements for transformation. Blood kindred could only marry members of the opposite sex, then have children and transform them. Sam was the son of a sixth-generation blood kindred and another blood kindred. Although he was born earlier than William, seniority was seniority, and it couldn't be changed. Sam, for the sake of my family, I didn't want to argue with you. But you're getting more and more outrageous. It's already reached a point where I can't stand it anymore. I'm sorry, my lord. I'm sorry. Sam knelt there and apologized profusely. Now tell me, who should hand over this head? Naturally, it's the great you. Sam hurriedly said, please hand it over. This is your credit. Yes, that's right. But it's okay. I'm different from you. I'm a person who knows how to share. Come with me. Let's go see the Grand Duke. I'll share the credit for the information with you. Thank you so much. You're the best. Sam's face was full of gratitude. All right, let's go. I don't want to delay for too long. William glanced at Li Fan's eyes. Mr. Li must be feeling anxious. I'm almost done with it. It's time to move. My car is outside. Sam immediately fawned, I'll be your chauffeur. Very good. Let's go. William let go of the whip and stood up. He picked up a bottle of wine from the plate that Li Fan had been holding and said, come with me. Serve me well. Yes, my lord. Li Fan obediently followed behind him, pretending to be a servant. Perfect. You'll be the chauffeur. Sam ordered Li Fan. Pa. William directly gave him a small slap. He's my blood slave. What right do you have to order him around? Sorry, my lord. I was wrong, Sam hurriedly apologized. Drive. Don't make me say it twice. Yes. Sam obediently went out to drive. William gave Li Fan a look. It's already half done. Yes, as long as we successfully enter Grand Duke Peter's fortress, I'll be able to find Lil Wan. Li Fan's eyes were indeed filled with eagerness, I'm worried that she'll suffer. Yes, let's go now. The two left the villa. A large American truck was parked outside. Your Sam has quite a unique taste, Li Fan could not help but mutter. He's still young. William laughed, he's only in his 50s. He's still a child among the blood breeds. Aren't you only 30? The environment I grew up in is different. William had a bitter look on his face, in the environment I grew up in, a short 30 years is like a lifetime. Alright, don't say everything when we're in the truck. You were a bit too proud just now. Li Fan reminded William. I understand what you mean, Mr. Li. William bowed at him, I respect you, but you don't know the rules of the blood breeds. Among the blood breeds, the strong are respected. If I don't show a corresponding amount of pride, he won't listen to me. Alright, I understand. Li Fan nodded, let's go. Don't let the driver wait too long. The two sat in the large truck. Li Fan found that it was quite spacious inside. He heard that large trucks were also cultured in the United States. However, Li Fan did not know much about this. He obediently sat in the front seat next to Sam. After driving for about an hour, Li Fan felt that they had already left the city. They seemed to have come to a mountainous area. Through the thick mountain fog, Li Fan could vaguely see the spire of an ancient castle. Chapter 1260. The huge castle of the Parker family. According to William, this castle had been standing here since the War of Independence and had a history of hundreds of years. The castle was also covered with plants, giving off an ancient aura and a vigorous vitality. Li Fan muttered in his heart. It was hard to imagine that a vampire who liked to live in the dark would live in such a sunny and lively place. William's eyes were filled with an indescribable complicated light. He had left this place for a long time. The car drove down the mountain, crushing the fallen leaves along the way. It slowly drove to the vicinity of the castle along the small road. In front of them was a huge iron gate with hollow bats carved on it. On the pillars on both sides of the gate, there was a stone gargoyle sitting cross-legged. They looked ferocious as if they were waiting to devour passers-by. I haven't been to Parker Castle for many years. William sat in the back and looked at the huge castle. The last time I came here was more than 20 years ago. Time flies, doesn't it? You're a marquis now. If you want to come, you can come anytime. Sam hurriedly flattered, this is your home after all. Is that so? William did not comment. He crossed his arms, leaned back, and did not say a word. And Li Fan saw that when the car stopped in front of the gate, the ruby-like eyes of the two gargoyle statues seemed to light up. Then, the gate slowly opened to both sides, like a bat slowly opening its wings. The area inside the castle was not small. It was like a small kingdom inside. To be able to have such a castle in the territory of America, it could be seen that the Parker family was rich and overbearing. Sir, when the car drove along the road of the castle for a while, Sam suddenly asked. Your blood thrall also wants to go in with us. He's an Asian, it's just a blood thrall, it doesn't matter. William took out the tone of the Parker family. Aren't these people suitable to be our slaves? What you said makes sense. Sam suddenly came to a realization and gave a thumbs up. You're still far-sighted. As expected of the Parker family's marquis. Stop flattering and hurry up and drive. Yes, we're here. The truck drove for more than a minute before stopping in front of a huge castle. The ancient castle was connected to a row of tall stairs that led down from the top. Li Fan glanced at it. Good Lord, just this door alone was as tall as a 3-story building. The Parker family was quite extravagant. On both sides of the flight of steps, there were statues of knights standing one after another. Every knight held a large sword with both hands, as if they were guardians. They stood there, protecting the ancient castle. This is Grand Duke Parker's Dawn Castle. William alighted from the carriage and looked at the huge ancient castle in front of him. His heart was filled with endless emotions. The last time I left this place was a long time ago. Now that I see you, you still haven't changed much. Honorable Marquis, I have finished speaking with the Grand Duke. He is already waiting for you. Sam put down his phone and bowed to William. Lead the way. William waved his hand and Sam immediately led the way, leading the two of them up the tall stairs. Li Fan observed for a while. Each step was very high, with a distance of 20 centimeters between the top and bottom. If an ordinary person were to walk up, they would probably be unbearably tired. However, none of the three of them were ordinary people. It could even be said that none of them were human. The three of them climbed up the stairs and stood in front of the door. The door of the ancient castle slowly opened to both sides with the sound of stones sliding. Li Fan also saw the scene in the ancient castle. The castle was covered with a red carpet and both sides were classical European decorations. It made Li Fan mistakenly think that he had returned to 15th century Europe. It seemed that this Grand Duke Peter was still a nostalgic person. There were almost no people in the castle. Only some servants were cleaning the castle. A man sat on a throne at the head. He wore a black suit and seemed to be bored to death as he held his chin. This man had an extraordinary aura. Although he looked young, it was unknown how old he was because he was a blood breed. The man watched as they walked in and stood in front of him. Greetings, Grand Duke. The two blood breeds bowed slightly to the man. Li Fan followed suit. It was not the time to shed all pretense of cordiality. He would observe for a while first. If William wanted to sit in this position, it would take more than just violence. Li Fan had asked William before. If he wanted to become the new head of the family, he had to defeat the previous head of the family in front of the 10 elders. However, Peter had sat in this position for hundreds of years and was the only Grand Duke in these hundreds of years. His strength was second only to Prince Alfred. Among the blood breeds, only the first generation, Prince Alfred, had abdicated his position. The rest had to continuously defeat the previous generation. William, I heard that you have been promoted to Marquis. Peter's gaze fell and looked at William, which made William's heart tremble. After all, This was the Grand Duke of the Parker family. He was a high and mighty person. His bearing was not something that could be trained in a day and night. His cold gaze was always on William. He did not even look at Li Fan. This also made Li Fan feel at ease. He did not want the other to notice him first. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Li Fan also secretly observed this Peter Parker. He was Lu Wan's father. He was here to snatch his daughter. He definitely would not be kind. Yes, I just got promoted. Oh, although he is a bastard, he has some ability. Peter praised somewhat arrogantly. Your father should be a little gratified. At least he didn't give birth to a useless person. Thank you for your praise, Grand Duke. Recently, the werewolves have been a little restless. You took Alba's dog head and taught them a lesson. Tell me, what reward do you want? Reporting to Grand Duke, I don't want any reward. I just want a chance. William finally raised his head and looked at Grand Duke Peter. What? I want a chance to challenge. Oh. Peter's eyebrows slightly moved as he looked at William. You are quite ambitious. A mere marquis wants to challenge me. Yes, please give me this chance. If you want to challenge me, just Alba's head is not enough. Peter said slowly, how about this? I have a mission now. If you can complete it well, I will give you this chance. Li Fan laughed in his heart. This Peter was quite awesome. William was actually not qualified to challenge him. Chapter 1261. It's been hundreds of years, and there are no challengers. I find it interesting that you are willing to challenge me. Grand Duke Peter chuckled. However, you have to complete the mission I give you first. Please speak. William gritted his teeth, thinking that with Mr. Li around, he could complete any mission. I received intelligence that there will be a wave of werewolves attacking our castle tomorrow. At that time, if you help me get rid of them, I will allow you to challenge me. How about it? All right. It's a deal. William's eyes flashed. Li Fan frowned. He actually had to wait for another day. He did not really want to wait. Mr. Li, wait for one more day. We will stay in the castle tonight. You can search around, maybe you will be able to find Lu Wanner. William's voice sounded in Li Fan's mind. It seemed to be his mental ability. Alright, you guys can stay here. Ross, prepare a servant's room for him. Yes. A stooped old man walked over. He had a head full of white hair and a gloomy aura. It was as if he was not a butler, but a night watchman. Lord William, this way please. The old man extended his hand. William immediately followed him out and brought Li Fan all the way to the second underground floor of the castle. It was a little damp, making Li Fan a little uncomfortable. However, with William's current state, it seemed that he could only stay here. Lord William, this is your room. The old butler Ross led them to a very simple room. This room still had a wooden door, and there was only a wooden bed inside. The surrounding walls were still stone, and it did not look like it had been decorated at all. At a glance, Li Fan saw that there were mottled moss growing on the surrounding stones, adding a bit of fresh color. If there's anything, just tell me. After the old butler Ross finished speaking, he was about to leave, but William suddenly reached out and called out to him. What's the matter? Ross showed a hint of impatience. I'm hungry, prepare something to eat. William ordered. Got it, please wait a moment. Ross turned and left. Only the two of them were staying here, but there was only one bed. Well, Mr. Li can sleep on the bed. I'll just make do. There's no need. You sleep. I'll meditate and adjust my breathing. I'll go out and walk around at night. Li Fan missed Lu Wan, so he definitely couldn't sleep well. This castle is like a maze. I will lead the way for you. It's not very convenient for two people to move together. Li Fan had his own considerations. Don't worry, we blood breeds have a special method. As William spoke, he blew on it, A small black bat flew out of the darkness and landed on his shoulder. This is an ability that all of us blood breeds have at the very beginning. It's called the bat's eye. William pointed at the little bat. I can see everything around me through it. When the time comes, I'll be in this room with it by your side. This is not bad. Li Fan was a little surprised. There was such a method. Lord William, your meal is here. The old butler's voice came from outside the door. It was also a little low, as if his throat was broken. Come in. William sat on the bed, and Li Fan immediately stood at the side, motionless, waiting for the old butler to come in. The old butler pushed the door open and entered, carrying a tray with a piece of cold bread and a glass of red wine. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. The old butler put the things on the bedside table, as if he didn't want to wait for William's orders. He left extremely quickly, coming and going like the wind. He didn't look old at all. Ross is also an old butler. He's been here since I was born. William said, although he's just an ordinary blood thrall, he's been influenced by his family and looks down on mixed bloods. Then it's no wonder you're treated like this. Li Fan understood. This was a place where bloodline discrimination was everywhere. Even an ordinary little blood thrall would look down on a half-blood marquis like William and even treat him coldly. Mr. Li, this is prepared for you. Although it's a little crude, it's enough to satisfy your hunger. You're not eating. We blood breeds don't eat food. William laughed. Then the old butler knows that I'm only asking for food on your behalf. Yes, I understand. Li Fan nodded. He'd forgotten about this matter. Blood breeds lived on blood. They didn't need to use food to replenish their energy, so they didn't need to eat. This red wine should be quite old. William gently pushed the red wine in front of Li Fan. Although this bread isn't much, the wine is good. All the wine here is stored in the cellar. Okay, thank you. Li Fan felt that William was a good person. Although he was ambitious, it was normal for a man to be a little ambitious. However, Li Fan also muttered in his heart. The werewolves were going to attack here tomorrow, and Peter left the defense to William? How could he be so at ease? William, are you sure you can deal with those werewolves tomorrow? Not really. Don't I have you? William said shyly. Damn, Li Fan was a little depressed. He stretched out his left hand. Suck some more blood. Maybe you can evolve into a duke. This, William laughed bitterly. How can it be so easy? Then are you going to suck or not? Suck, suck, suck. William nodded his head like he was pounding garlic. This kid once again carefully held Li Fan's arm as if he was looking at a treasure. Hurry up, don't waste time. Yes. William opened his fangs and bit Li Fan's wrist. There was another light sting, followed by a feeling of emptiness from the loss of blood. William's eyes emitted a red glow again. Following that, his body released a red glow bit by bit. This time, Li Fan didn't stop him and allowed him to suck his blood as he pleased. Li Fan's blood production speed was extremely fast now, so he wasn't afraid of William sucking a little more. He also wanted to test how much William could suck and how strong he was. Soon, William's face turned red. He pushed away Li Fan's arm, took 2 steps back, and sat on the bed. The red glow on his body became more and more intense, but the flush on his face faded and he looked a little pale. This time, the wings on William's back popped out again, tearing the clothes on his back and extending outside. Li Fan closed the door tightly to prevent the movement here from being noticed outside. It seemed that this guy was going to evolve again. He probably didn't expect to evolve twice in 2 days. Mr. Li. You're really strong, William murmured. I actually evolved again, of course. You were at the peak of Marquis before, so it's not strange for you to evolve into a duke now. You're right. Let me digest first. William closed his eyes and began to feel his new strength. Chapter 1262. William had improved his strength twice and officially entered the level of a duke. Even among the blood breeds, dukes were rare. It's about time. Li Fan waited for a long time. When William's expression had calmed down, he suddenly opened his eyes. All right, I'm ready as well. William nodded. Tonight, he would fully cooperate with Mr. Li. Mr. Li had already helped him too much. If he didn't help him this time, he would be letting him down. They were allies. If he didn't show his value, he probably wouldn't want to help him. An ally like Mr. Li was definitely worth fighting for. I will use my mental strength to communicate with Mr. Li through the bat. William gave Li Fan a reassuring look. This time, Mr. Li will be satisfied. Don't make it sound so weird. Li Fan rolled his eyes. I'm going out. Tonight, we're exploring the castle. As Li Fan's voice fell, the sportswear on his body suddenly began to change color, and soon turned black. Your clothes are made of nanotechnology, right? William was a little dumbfounded. Yes. Why, doesn't America have it? William shook his head, thinking that China's technology was a little too heaven-defying. No wonder America wanted to restrain China. If China was allowed to grow, it would be too scary. Was working with Mr. Li like asking a tiger for its skin? But now was not the time to think about such things. Mr. Li had already helped him so much. He had given his heart to him, so he couldn't let him down. Since young, this was the first time William had met a friend who was willing to treat him sincerely. No matter what happened in the future, he had to help Mr. Li find Lu Wanwan. The castle was very quiet at night. All the servants were asleep, and the corridor was empty. There was not a single person in sight. Li Fan had night vision, so he wasn't worried about such an environment. But if it was a blood breed, they could still find him. Ordinary vampires possessed night vision, and vampires above the rank of Count also possessed ultrasonic detection abilities. He walked along the corridor, trying to find Lu Wanwan's scent. He was familiar with Lu Wanwan's scent. As long as he was nearby, he would be able to find her. William accompanied Li Fan and walked around the castle a few times, but they couldn't find Lu Wan. Mr. Li, we've almost walked through the entire castle. William's bat spoke to Li Fan with its mind power. You've been everywhere. Li Fan was also proficient in mental strength. He used mental strength to converse with William, and William was shocked. This Mr. Li, he had hidden his strength well. Mr. Li, the only place we haven't explored is the third underground floor of the castle. William calmed himself down and said to Li Fan, however, I have never been to the third level. Then let's go and take a look. Li Fan wasn't interested either, but Lu Wan was right in front of him. If he didn't find her, Li Fan wouldn't be able to let go. Mr. Li, please go ahead. There's a small staircase that you can go down. William pointed out, and Li Fan followed the direction he gave and walked to the designated location. Sure enough, there was an inconspicuous small staircase hidden here, and there was a gust of chilly wind coming from below. It didn't look like a bunker, but more like a tomb. Li Fan thought for a moment. This was the territory of the blood breed, so there was nothing unusual about a tomb hidden below. Although he didn't know if Lu Wan was really here, as long as there was a bit of hope, Li Fan had to try. Li Fan's hand touched the staircase, and a chill spread from Li Fan's palm, instantly attacking his whole body. What a frightening cold air. Even he himself could feel the coldness. Li Fan's body had the attribute of frost, and with the protection of Yuan Qi, normal cold had no effect on him. But this chill was obviously abnormal, as if there was something causing trouble. In such a mysterious place, maybe Lu Wan was really down there. Without hesitation, Li Fan held the cold railing and walked down the stairs. It was very deep down, as if it led to the 18th level of hell. Li Fan patiently climbed all the way down. After about 5 or 6 minutes, Li Fan finally reached the deepest part of the place. He jumped down from the stairs, and his feet stepped on the cold grass. What kind of place was this, where grass grew? Bah, his words were a bit ambiguous. Li Fan looked around, and the space below was vast, as if it was another space. He squinted, looked carefully, and suddenly understood something. William, look carefully, doesn't this look like the Dawn Castle? Eh. William, who had transformed into a little bat, looked around for a while. It really is exactly the same as the Dawn Castle. But what's going on here? How can there be such a big space to put a Dawn Castle? Li Fan looked around, and it was indeed a dark version of the Dawn Castle. The surrounding scenery was exactly the same, except that there was no sun here. Could it be, this is the Dark Night Castle? Dark Night Castle, what do you mean? I've only heard of it, but I've never seen it before. The Dawn Castle is only a residence on the surface, but the real residence of the Parker family is hidden in the Dark Night Castle below. I used to think that it was just a nonsense rumor, but I didn't expect it to be true. But how can there be such a huge space underground, and how many years did it take to dig it out? This should be a huge underground cave or something like that. Li Fan guessed. The Parker family occupied this place, and secretly built a castle, and used some kind of method to seal the exit, and then built a Dawn Castle on top to fool people. Such a huge project, is it possible? William didn't dare to believe it. There are many ancient tombs of kings in Huaxia, and all of them are of this size. Li Fan thought of the ancient imperial mausoleum where Liao Ju was. The area of that place was not smaller than this place. This is unbelievable. Merlin's beard, William exclaimed in admiration, and Li Fan thought to himself, what an ignorant fellow. Since I found this place, I might be able to see Lu Wan, Li Fan stepped on the grass, and walked towards the Dark Night Castle in front of him. In front of him was the gate of the Dark Night Castle, and it was exactly the same as the Dawn Castle. There were 2 stone gargoyles sitting on the pillars on both sides. When Li Fan approached, the 2 gargoyles instantly opened their red eyes, and their gaze fell on him. Mr. Li, they have their eyes on you. William's voice rang in Li Fan's mind. At this moment, the 2 gargoyles spread their wings at the same time, and instantly came to life. Chapter 1263. The 2 gargoyles flapped their wings at the same time, bringing along a gust of wind. Their gaze fell on Li Fan, revealing their mouths full of fangs. The 2 gargoyles charged at Li Fan and roared together. Bang bang. 2 sound waves directly pressed down on Li Fan, bringing along the sound of an air explosion. Li Fan frowned. He moved sideways and slid away, avoiding the 2 sound waves. The ground was blasted open, the grass was overturned, and the soil was scattered everywhere. Mr. Li, please be careful. William reminded Li Fan, although these gargoyles have eyes, they can't see people. They rely on sound waves to locate you. Their strongest weapon is this sound wave. Got it, thanks for the reminder. Li Fan stared at the 2 gargoyles, ready to deal with their attack at any time. The 2 gargoyles flapped their wings and actually flew into the sky. One on the left and one on the right, preparing to launch a pincer attack on Li Fan. Li Fan's eyes caught their movements. He moved left and right, easily dodging the 2 gargoyles' attack. Although the gargoyles' speed was extremely fast and their attack was like thunder, Li Fan had seen through all of their attacks. However, Li Fan had seen through all of their attacks. No matter how the gargoyles attacked, they couldn't even touch the corner of Li Fan's clothes. Little 4th style, Dragon Subduing Spear. As Li Fan spoke, he stretched out both his hands. The leaves on the ground began to dance, constantly rotating, and flew into Li Fan's hands, condensing into a spear. The Dragon Subduing Sword. However, the surrounding energy could not only condense into a sword, but also other weapons. One of the gargoyles had already rushed in front of Li Fan, opened its bloody mouth, and bit towards Li Fan. Come down. Li Fan grabbed the spear with both hands and directly stabbed down. Pooh! The gargoyle's head was directly pierced by Li Fan and nailed to the ground. One gargoyle was killed, but the other gargoyle suddenly went berserk. Its body expanded, going from 2 meters tall to more than 3 meters. At the same time, its body flashed with a blood-red light. Then, it stood there and roared at Li Fan. A red shockwave blasted towards Li Fan, tearing apart the soil on the ground. Li Fan brandished the spear in his hand and flicked it against the shockwave. This huge shockwave was actually dissolved by Li Fan's power. Then, Li Fan took a step forward, aimed at the still stiff body of the gargoyle, and stabbed it in the head, lifting it up and throwing it into the air. The gargoyle's body once again fell to the ground, pierced by Li Fan's spear, and fell to the ground. Li Fan stepped on the gargoyle's chest and crushed it. William fluttered at the side, flapping his wings. His small bat face seemed to be filled with speechlessness. Li Fan's strength was too awesome. Even if it was him, it would take a lot of effort to deal with 2 vampires. However, Li Fan actually handled it so casually. This kind of fighting strength was not something the vampires possessed. The vampires had their own fighting style, but compared to Li Fan's skills, it was child's play. Looks like this is a martial arts master. The gatekeeper is dealt with. With a wave of Li Fan's hand, the spear formed by the leaves immediately dispersed and scattered on the ground, as if it never existed. This. Mr. Li. Can you teach me this martial art? William hesitated for a long time and finally asked. Sure. Li Fan did not refuse. I am going to establish a sect soon and recruit disciples. Even foreigners can do it. William was a little surprised. I heard that the sects in China have something like sectarian bias. Indeed there is, but it's different now. Li Fan's ambition was everywhere. You follow me, I will teach you. You are too kind. William was extremely excited. I must learn from you. Okay, I will teach you a few ways to use the chain. Li Fan was now proficient in all kinds of martial arts. I am looking forward to it. William was very happy. This way, he could also become stronger. Let's enter the Dark Knight Castle since we are already here. Li Fan said, stepping on the grass, walking toward the Dark Knight Castle. It was another long flight of stairs, but this time, Li Fan used his qinggong and jumped to the front of the door. The door of the Dark Knight Castle was closed, as if it did not want outsiders to enter. These 2 big iron doors must be 1,000 pounds, I am afraid we can't enter. William was slightly disappointed. It seemed like this Dark Knight Castle, he could only say goodbye to it today. You hide well, it is not suitable for you to show up. Li Fan reminded William. Huh? Don't, just listen to me. Okay. William flapped his wings and went into Li Fan's pocket. Hide well. The bat secretly bit a small hole in Li Fan's trouser pocket and looked at the outside world through this hole. Li Fan stood in front of the 2 big iron doors, his body expanded a few times, alien bone changing. Soon, Li Fan turned into a different person. He was a strong man who was 1.9 meters tall. Li Fan put one hand on the iron door, then sank his energy into his dantian, the energy continuously poured into his wrist. Open. Li Fan exerted force on his wrist, the iron door opened. Just as so. The iron door was so heavy that even a dozen strong men could not push it open. However, Li Fan easily pushed it open with his own strength, which shocked William, who saw all this through the small hole. The door was pushed open. In front of him was still a hall covered with red carpet. There was a throne on it, but there was no one there. And on both sides of the hall, there were rows of coffins. Before Li Fan had time to go in, the stone knights on the steps behind him suddenly moved. They shook off the dust on their bodies, slowly raised the sword in their hands, and then walked toward Li Fan. Mr. Li, I sense a terrifying aura. William used his mental strength to warn Li Fan. I already know. Li Fan turned around and looked at the stone knights in front of him, his face expressionless. They are just some small fries blocking the door. As he spoke, a stone knight had already walked in front of Li Fan, raising the sword in his hand high, as if it was about to slash down. But Li Fan did not dodge. Instead, he took a step forward, his shoulder heavily hitting the chest of the stone knight. Bang! A huge amount of energy exploded from the chest of the stone knight, and it was smashed into pieces. The strength of Li Fan's shoulder was like a bomb. Li Fan's strength was right there. These stone knights were really not considered a dish to him. He stood in front of the door, as if he alone could hold the pass against 10,000 people. No matter how many stone knights came, they were all smashed by Li Fan's fists and feet. Chapter 1264. None of these stone knights were of any use. In less than 3 minutes, the ground in front of Li Fan was already full of gravel. Since it's the Dark Knight Castle, why not prepare some decent guards? Li Fan sighed, feeling lonely as an expert. Since it's the Dark Knight Castle, there must be experts. William was somewhat worried. I hope Mr. Li can turn misfortune into blessing and find Lu Wan. Thank you for your kind words. Li Fan finally stepped into the Dark Knight Castle. The carpet under his feet seemed to be alive. As soon as he stepped on it, 2 skeletal arms stretched out from the carpet and tightly grabbed his ankles. Huh? Li Fan raised his eyebrows and shook his ankles, trying to shake off the skeletal hands. But the arms did not move at all. It seemed to be very strong. Not bad. Li Fan smiled. This is interesting. Master, this Dark Knight Castle is very strange. You have to be careful. Understood. Li Fan was about to take a closer look at the skeletal hands. Just at this time, the coffins on both sides suddenly slowly opened. One figure after another walked out. Who dares to break into my Dark Knight Castle? These were all sleeping vampires. At this time, because of Li Fan's intrusion, they were awakened. Their strength is uneven. There are Baron and Marquis. William's voice sounded. Yes, I know. Li Fan was the first to speak. Everyone, I'm just looking for someone. I don't want to hurt anyone's life. Everyone quickly leave, otherwise I won't be lenient. What a big mouth. A mere yellow-skinned monkey dares to come here and make trouble. The opposite vampires sneered again and again, really reckless. Go, swallow him alive. The surrounding vampires all took out their own blood weapons. There were all kinds of weapons. But most of them were ordinary European weapons, such as big shields, big swords, giant axes, chain hammers and so on. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. As Li Fan spoke, he stretched out his right hand. The gravel outside suddenly flew up and condensed into a palm-sized sword in Li Fan's hand. Fourth movement, Dragon Subduing Sword Technique. The stone sword in Li Fan's hand flicked out and pierced through the throats of several vampires almost instantly. Li Fan knew that these blood tribe members all had strong bodies and healing abilities. If they were pierced in the heart or the head, they could still live. But if they were pierced in the throat, severing the connection between their head and neck, they would die. Li Fan was indeed merciless. The dragon subduing sword could cut through iron like mud, let alone the bodies of these Blood Clan members. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 Blood Clan members had been assassinated on the spot. As for the other attacks from the Blood Tribe, they were all blocked by Li Fan with a single hand and sent flying without any effect. At this time, Li Fan was like a wolf that had entered a flock of sheep. With his own strength, he was able to kill all the vampires and force them to flee in panic. Who the hell are you? The Blood Clan member who had been talking to Li Fan was also a Marquis. At this time, his eyes were fierce as he roared at Li Fan. Huaxia's Shang Fang sword. Shang Fang sword, the Marquis's expression changed. Yes. Li Fan's eyes seemed to be filled with lightning, causing the Marquis to tremble in fear. However, he quickly calmed down and mocked. What Shang Fang sword, Huaxia's guardian? What a joke. Didn't you still get caught by our spells? These skeletal hands are filled with Yin energy and are extremely hard. No matter what, you won't be able to break free. Unless, of course, you cut off your own legs. No need. As Li Fan spoke, he forcibly broke the skeletal hands on his ankles and stomped on the ground. Bam! The ground trembled slightly. The floorboards under Li Fan's feet cracked and the carpet was torn into several pieces. What? The Marquis was taken aback. He could not believe his eyes. The surrounding Blood clan members also retreated a little. They subconsciously took a few steps back, not daring to approach Li Fan. Li Fan's body was surrounded by a 3 to 4 meter diameter vacuum circle. No one dared to approach. All of you are trash. Li Fan heard a deep voice, and then, a coffin that was placed on the ground was slowly lifted up. The coffin was slowly opened. A thin man appeared in the coffin. His eyes were cold as he looked at Li Fan, who was standing below. Just a dirty foreign bloodline. You can't even deal with it. So disappointing. The man sighed. Sure enough, leaving the Dark Knight Castle to you trash is not good. Sorry, Duke Zack. I woke you up. The Marquis quickly kneeled down and apologized to the man. Forget it. You can leave. Leave this to me. Duke Zack slowly walked down, Shang Fang's sword. I haven't heard of this name for more than 300 years. I have killed many yellow-skinned monkeys in the past. Shang Fang's sword is nothing. It is just a rumor. Is that so? Then it seems that you have been living like a dog for these 300 years. Li Fan chuckled, still so ignorant. I think you are tired of living. Duke Zack's eyes flashed with a sharp edge, trespassing into the Dark Knight Castle. Today, your head will be left here. Zack said and extended his hand towards Li Fan. Grasp of Darkness. This Grasp of Darkness was somewhat similar to Li Fan's Dragon Catcher hand. Grasp of Darkness used the power of darkness to lock the opponent's neck in the dark and twist his neck. But Li Fan was standing there perfectly fine. His neck was wrapped with elemental energy. This Grasp of Darkness could not hurt him at all. What? Zack frowned. He did not expect his Grasp of Darkness to fail. This was the Dark Knight Castle. It was dark and gloomy all day long. It could be said to be a place where Blood Clan's magic could be used to its peak. How could it fail? Zack could not understand. Where did it go wrong? Since that is the case, I will use my treasured blade to kill you. He stretched out his hand, and the blood condensed into a 2-meter-long saber, which he grasped in his hand. 300 years ago, I once fought on the battlefield. This blood blade can be used again today. With that, Zack grabbed the blood-red blade with both hands and slashed at Li Fan. Li Fan leaned to the side and easily dodged his blade. Bang! A 2-meter-long crack appeared on the ground. It made people's heart go numb. But Li Fan did not care. He lifted his foot and stepped on the back of the blade. Zack tried to lift it but was unable to. Rise for me. Zack's face was gloomy. He tried to lift it again but was still unable to lift it. Fuck. Zack could not help but curse. Sorry, this blade, you better put it down for the time being. Li Fan stomped hard again, and the blood knife sank into the floor. Chapter 1265. Impossible. Zack roared and looked at the blood knife under his feet in disbelief. This blood saber was firmly stomped into the ground. I'm sorry, you can leave now. Li Fan said as he elbowed Zack's lower abdomen. Pooh. Zack's body was sent flying and spun a few times in the air before smashing into the wall behind him. He smashed a painting on it and broke through the wall, embedding himself in it. Is there no one stronger? Li Fan's yuan qi flowed around his body, shocking the surrounding vampires. No one dared to approach him. William admired Li Fan. As expected of Mr. Li, the guardian of China. These vampires were all afraid of Li Fan's aura. Mere vampires, if there is no opponent, retreat immediately. Li Fan warned them one last time. If you don't listen, I'll kill you. With Li Fan's words, the vampires were indeed afraid of him and didn't dare to come forward. The Dark Knight Castle was their base camp, but now it was broken through by an Asian man, and no one could stop him. Prince, please come forward. All the vampires knelt on the ground and begged in unison. Prince? According to Li Fan's knowledge, there was only one prince in this place, and that was Al Parker. It would be interesting to let Al Parker fight with him. After fighting with the vampires, Li Fan realized that even a duke's strength was at the peak of the martial arts school. But their combat level was not good. Their fighting style was monotonous, and their overall strength was at most at the advanced level. If it was a prince, he hoped that he would be able to give him more surprises. Li Fan crossed his arms and stood in the distance, waiting for the prince to arrive. "Who is disturbing me?" Another muffled voice sounded out of nowhere. Along with this voice, there was some kind of shivering chill. Frost kept appearing on the floor, freezing the carpet, making it look like a skating rink. As for Li Fan, he remained unmoved as if he was waiting for this person to descend. In the castle, a coffin suddenly fell from the sky and landed on the ground with a loud bang, smashing in front of the throne. Creak, the coffin slowly opened, revealing a 10-year-old boy standing inside. With a wave of his hand, the coffin flew up and crashed to the side with a thud. He leisurely sat on the throne, crossed his legs, and looked down at Li Fan. "Has the main character finally appeared?" Li Fan sneered, right? If you don't want to die, exchange my Lil Wan with you." "Lil Wan?" Al held his chin and frowned. "I haven't come out for hundreds of years. I don't know who you're talking about. However, even if you want me to die, you can't do it, right?" This Al looked like a golden-haired youth. He had delicate features and was lovable. No one would have thought that such a childish-looking youth was actually the ultimate boss of the Parker family, Al Parker. "Whether I can do it or not, we'll know after a while." Li Fan put his hands forward and made the starting gesture of the 9 dragons art. "China, I've only heard of it before. I've never been there." Al picked up a nail clipper and trimmed his long nails. He seemed to care a lot about his appearance. He cut his long golden hair short and tied it into a ponytail at the back of his head. "I heard that China has some powerful martial artists. I thought it was just a rumor. I didn't expect to see it today. I've only heard of some vampires. I've only seen them recently." Li Fan began to move his muscles. "Is the prince strong? Let me try. I just woke up. I'm too lazy to move my muscles." Al hooked his finger at a female vampire next to him. That woman was overjoyed. She ran over and massaged Al's shoulders and legs. "Tell me, how do you want to fight?" "How do I fight? Are there different ways to fight?" Li Fan was a little surprised. "I have a bad habit. I like to be quiet." Al said slowly, "Usually, I won't fight if I can avoid it. But if others insist on fighting me, I'll definitely kill them. So I want to ask you, do you want to fight casually or do you want me to be serious?" "Of course I want to be serious. Otherwise, I'll come here in the middle of the night." "How boring." Li Fan stretched. "Also, if I win, you have to help me find my Lil Wan." "Sure. I, Al, am a man of my words." Al waved the woman away and slowly stood up. "If you can win, I'll fulfill your wish. If you die, I will bury your corpse here for you. How about it? I, Al, have done my best, right?" "Thank you very much." Li Fan laughed. At this time, William was hiding in Li Fan's pocket, trembling. Seeing the boss of the family, he was probably scared to death. "Oh right, who's that little guy in your pocket? Seems like he's not that old, but he's already a duke." "That's really amazing." Al praised. "For so many years, the Parker family hasn't had much progress. With your talent, it won't be long before the Parker family has a second prince." "For so many years, you've been sleeping." Li Fan felt William's uneasiness and changed the topic. "Living for too long, there's always some uneasiness." Al sighed. "Especially me, I became a prince, but I was judged by the sun and couldn't leave the world above ground for the rest of my life. A few hundred years before I became a vampire, I tried to go out at night and even met a peerless woman. I'm a nocturnal devil, but she's a beautiful angel. I loved her, but she didn't want to become a vampire. I could only watch her die. You're so young. There's actually a woman who fell in love with you. Li Fan said, this is too heavy taste. I'm a vampire, I can control my appearance. Al casually said, since then, I've been sleeping here all day. Maintaining my virginity is just to sleep more comfortably. From your tone, it seems like you don't discriminate against me. Why would I discriminate against you? Al was a bit surprised, just because you're a human. No, I respect humans. Every race is worthy of respect. Huh? Li Fan was a bit puzzled. Isn't the tradition of the Parker family bloodline? I understand. Al was very smart. He instantly understood Li Fan's thoughts. You should be talking about Conan Parker. Indeed, he's a pure-blood fanatic. This son of mine is indeed a bit unusual. However, let's not talk about them. Can we start? Chapter 1266. Al's pair of dark green eyes stared at Li Fan as if he was asking. Even in this kind of environment, Al still maintained his bearing and politeness. Please. Li Fan extended his hand. Al's body floated in the air for a moment and then slowly slid in front of Li Fan. During this process, Al's body continued to grow and soon became the height of a normal adult man. He is about 1.8 meters tall with a handsome face and a golden ponytail. He is indescribably charming and elegant. If this brother were to shoot a movie, he would definitely be a lady killer. He stretched out his hands and red blood flew out and weaved into a scarlet coat on his body. This is your blood weapon. Seeing this coat, Li Fan was a bit surprised. Yes, that's why I said I don't like to fight. My weapon is a beautiful coat. Al smiled warmly, my taste in this coat is not bad, right? Looking at this somewhat medieval coat, Li Fan did not know how to comment. However, right now in China, this kind of retro feeling is popular. Maybe if someone like Al wears it out, he can really set a fashion trend? Alright, let's begin. Al said as he stretched out his right hand. Waves of cold air condensed in his hand and formed a 1.5 meter long frost sword. Damn, does this mean you don't like to fight? I need something to defend myself. Al explained, after a vampire evolves into a prince, they will be able to awaken an ability. My ability is frost. With that, the ice sword in Al's hand suddenly slashed down. Clang! Li Fan raised his right hand. His arm was wrapped in frost dragon face shield and blocked Al's attack. A trace of shock flashed in Al's eyes. Sorry. Under the shield, Li Fan's mouth slightly rose. Coincidentally, my ability is also frost. With that, Li Fan placed his left palm on Al's abdomen. Black Dragon Ice Palm. A large amount of frost instantly covered Al's body. Following that, a huge force exploded from his back. Bang! Al's body only paused for a second. The next moment, he was sent flying and smashed into the wall behind him. A dent appeared on the wall, but Ar managed to stand his ground. At the same time, he gripped his greatsword with both hands and appeared in front of Li Fan in a flash. The ice sword in his hand was aimed at Li Fan's throat. Although Al's moves were simple, they were full of power and speed, making up for the lack of moves. Li Fan punched upwards towards Ar's ice sword. But at this moment, Li Fan noticed that his attacks had slowed down at a speed visible to the naked eye. Al's bullet time. Once he activated this ability, he was many times stronger than William. Al's sword, however, was even faster. It reached Li Fan's throat directly. At this critical moment, the Valkyrie automatically popped out from behind Li Fan, waved her golden palm, and slapped away the ice sword. The Valkyrie's powerful strength forced Al to take 2 steps back. Oh! Looking at the slowly disappearing golden light behind Li Fan, Al's eyes flashed as if he was very interested. What is that? Valkyrie's true form. Li Fan, on the other hand, did not hide it. Our Huaxia's martial artists, at the end of their cultivation, can achieve this state. With that, the Valkyrie once again popped out from behind Li Fan. She opened her arms and with a powerful force, she attacked the castle of the knight. The surrounding vampires were all pushed back by the powerful blast. So powerful, Al looked at Li Fan enviously. I also want to have such power. As he spoke, the scarlet coat on his body glowed brightly. Then, some blood flew out from the coat and slowly condensed into a woman's figure behind him. This woman's body was blood red, holding a huge blood red scythe in her hand. Li Fan was a little speechless. Did he learn it just like that? Although he used the blood weapon to show it, Al's talent is too good. If this guy was not disheartened and slept in the coffin for hundreds of years, perhaps he would have become invincible. After all, with his endless lifespan, even God can't stop him. So scary, is it why, Lisabeth? Al seemed a little excited. The blood-red woman stretched out her hand and gently touched Al's cheek, as if communicating with him. Li Fan was a little surprised. Could it be that Al's blood weapon has its own consciousness? Why, Lisabeth? I knew that you would not leave me. Let us defeat this Chinese guest together and thank him for reuniting us. As soon as Al's voice fell, the blood-red woman behind him suddenly picked up the huge scythe and directly swept it toward Li Fan. Li Fan felt the power of the scythe and immediately slid back 3 meters away, avoiding the scythe's range. Clang! The Iron Knight decorations in the surroundings were cut in half by the saber wind and fell to the ground. Why, Lisabeth, you are still so powerful. Al was very happy, as expected of the strongest cross-paladin. Fuck. The woman that Al likes is actually the cross-paladin who crusades against the Blood Clan and Beast Men? This news is really explosive. Valkyrie, dragon subduing sword. Li Fan knew that Al was not easy to deal with and immediately ordered. The Valkyrie, who was wearing the flying dragon armor, immediately moved her hands. The gravel on the ground flew up and condensed into a meter-long stone sword in her hands. Then, she cut through the night sky and instantly slashed at Al. Why, Lisabeth, let me protect you. As Al spoke, he raised a beautiful frost shield with both hands and blocked it. The stone sword stabbed into the shield and got stuck. Why, Lisabeth took the opportunity to raise her blood-red scythe and slashed it down toward Li Fan's head. Valkyrie, Thunder Dragon Heavenly Retribution. Li Fan did not hesitate and used the second move. The Valkyrie waved her hand and slashed with the power of thunder, splitting Lisabeth's scythe from the side. The two of them continued to exchange blows, exchanging several moves in a row. Li Fan felt that it was a little tricky. Al and Lisabeth, one defending and the other attacking, had a seamless cooperation. On his side, only the Valkyrie could attack. Although his martial arts were good at both offense and defense, it was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. Every exchange was extremely dangerous. If he was not careful, he might be hit by the opponent's move. Guest from China, you have given me a lot of surprises. Al was very happy like a child who had received a gift. I will also use my power to fight with you. This is my respect for you. As he spoke, he suddenly stepped forward. Time slowed down and his shield heavily crashed into Li Fan's body. Chapter 1267. Al used the bullet time to slow down time again. However, he was not affected. He took the initiative to step forward. In this dark castle, he was like a god of war. He raised his ice shield and slammed it heavily on Li Fan's body. It was as if he had been hit head-on by a car, and Li Fan's vision darkened slightly. The blood-red Elizabeth spun around and used her body to drive the power of the scythe. The sound of air being torn could be heard. The scythe's blade was already in front of Li Fan's neck. However, Li Fan had been waiting for this moment. A victorious look appeared in Al's eyes. It was like he was waiting to celebrate with Elizabeth. Valkyrie, Supreme Dragon Fist. A golden light flashed. Bang! The Valkyrie's fist was still emitting white smoke. A huge fist mark appeared on Al's chest. It directly tore a small part of his body apart. Fresh blood flowed down the wound, and it did not stop. He stood there and stared at the bloody hole in his chest. From here, he could clearly see the wall behind him. There was also a fist mark half a foot deep on it. Elizabeth's hands touched the bloody hole in Al's chest. It was like she was feeling heartache. The powerful self-healing ability of the blood kindred was also displayed at this moment. The bloody hole in his chest was slowly closing up. The surrounding blood kindred were so scared that they broke out in a cold sweat. They did not dare to say anything. This powerful Asian man had even defeated a prince. So powerful, after a long time, Al spoke. You are the second strongest opponent I have met in so many years. Al's chest was still healing. He shifted his gaze to Li Fan. I should praise you, powerful Eastern guest. Sorry for offending you. Li Fan cupped his hands. His Valkyrie also dispersed bit by bit. The ray of light in the hall finally disappeared. The surrounding blood kindred heaved a sigh of relief. You win, guest. As Al spoke, he flew up again and landed back on his throne. Prince, you obviously did not use your royal body. Duke Zack knelt in front of him and asked unwillingly. Shut up. Al berated him, causing him to tremble in fear. That posture is too ugly. Also, you short-sighted fellow, can't you see that this distinguished guest hasn't used his full strength yet? It would be a lie to say that he wasn't surprised. This AR actually saw through this. Amazing, I really want to fight this all with all my strength. Sensing the powerful fighting spirit emanating from Li Fan, AR hurriedly said. This customer. I think it's better if you don't fight anymore. I told you, I really don't like fighting. What's more, I'm not in a state of complete victory. I've been asleep for hundreds of years, but my power hasn't increased. It's been too long since I've sucked blood, so my strength has regressed. Alright, then remember, you owe me a fight. Li Fan reminded AR, I owe a debt for no reason. Elizabeth, AL's expression was bitter. You can train the little guy in your pocket well. He has a lot of potential and can be your opponent in the future. He's indeed a blank piece of paper that can be trained well. However, this isn't something that can be done overnight. We blood breeds have a long lifespan and can be trained slowly. But my lifespan is limited. But I feel that your lifespan is also very long. AR looked at Li Fan very seriously. Although it's not an endless lifespan, it's still far longer than an ordinary person's lifespan. Oh, is that so? Li Fan thought for a moment. It's probably about my vitality training. Or the fact that I ate a dragon. By the way, you said that I'm the second powerful opponent you've met. Li Fan was having a good time now and was a little interested in this matter. Who was the first? The first? AR laughed. I didn't expect that you would be interested in this kind of thing. The first person was Queen Cersei back then. She was the original blood breed, the ancestor of all blood breeds, and the true queen of blood breed. Li Fan didn't expect there to be such a secret. I was also a first-generation cross-knight back then. I received training and nurturing from the religion of light and set off towards Cersei's castle. Along the way, I don't know how many blood breeds I killed, and the allies of the blood breed at that time, the orcs. My body was covered in blood as I stepped on the corpses all over the ground and stood in front of Queen Cersei. I even cut off her head with my own hands. But at this moment, I was also cursed and became a blood breed who fought with all his might. AR sighed. My own wife and daughter died in the hands of the blood breeds, but I didn't expect that I would become such a person. In other words, you're stronger than Queen Cersei? No. AR shook his head. Queen Cersei was much stronger than me. It's just that she wanted to die, so I killed her. You've lived enough. That's right. Is there anything more painful than watching your lover grow old? AR laughed bitterly. They say that longevity is good, but they don't know the bitterness of it. Especially us blood breeds, we don't see the sun and live in the dark. The longer we live, the more abnormal our minds become. I ordered my descendants to build this dark night castle to lead the disheartened blood breeds to a place to rest. Then I won't disturb your sleep. Li Fan could see that Ar had long been disheartened by everything. Now that he saw Elizabeth again, he just wanted to enjoy the joy of reunion. But this kind of love would probably not last long, and it would probably still be painful. After all, she was not a living person, he couldn't talk, and he couldn't touch her. Li Fan thought about it. If it wasn't for Lil Wan and the others, no matter how strong he was, he probably wouldn't be able to survive in this world. You should fulfill your promise and tell me about Lil Wan, right? Sigh, distinguished guest, I can only give you my token. Ar reached out, picked up a small bat emblem, and threw it to Li Fan. You'll have to ask the rest yourself. Fuck, you can't help me yourself. Back then, I made a rule that the dark night and dawn don't interfere with each other. Ar pointed up, I have no right to interfere with the current patriarch. I can only give you my token. If you take it, he should give you some face. Are you kidding me? Li Fan was a little angry. I really didn't, please believe me. Ar looked at Li Fan with a sincere face, if we old guys always interfere, then the Parker family will never grow. So, even if I come forward, the patriarch of this generation can still not give me face. So, I can't help you, guest. Chapter 1268. Damn it. Li Fan had already returned to the small dwelling they lived in. He was sitting on a chair, holding his breath. I had a good impression of that Al before, but now I just want to give him a few more slaps. This. Mr. Li. I think what Mr. Al said is true. William was carefully putting in a good word for his ancestor. It's because it's true that I'm holding my breath. Li Fan was a little mad, damn it, I'll tear this place down tomorrow. I don't believe I can't find my Lil Wan. Don't. Mr. Li. William hurriedly advised, don't be anxious. Even if you tear this place down, what if Lil Wan is hiding somewhere else? Wouldn't your efforts be in vain? As long as we defeat the invading werewolves tomorrow, I will successfully challenge Grand Duke Peter and become the 6th clan leader. Naturally, I will have the right to release and return your Lil Wan. I always feel like a long night is fraught with dreams. Li Fan had spent the whole day in the Instance dungeon, but in the end, he had gained nothing. Also, the opponent is a Grand Duke, and you are only a Duke. Do you have the confidence to defeat him? No, so I have to ask you for help. William looked at Li Fan with a fawning expression, with your strength, dealing with a Grand Duke is definitely not a problem. I'm thinking that I might as well help the werewolves and destroy the Parker family. Li Fan touched his chin, as if he was seriously thinking, they might be more obedient. Oh, my Mr. Li, you're joking and scaring me again. William touched his little heart, those who want to attack our castle are also radical beastmen terrorists. They will definitely be punished by the committee, and the Knights of the Cross will constantly hunt them down. These guys are not magnanimous. You won't get any benefits if you cooperate with them. I'm just saying. After all, rather than talking about cooperation with those guys, it's better to just kill them. Li Fan's words made William's hair stand on end. Mr. Li, this hostility is really big. Mr. Li, don't be anxious. Let's talk about how to deal with Grand Duke Peter. Don't worry, I will naturally help you when the time comes, but I will need to borrow your body for a while. In the past, Li Fan had always used other people's bodies to fight. How about this? Since we have nothing to do at night, I'll teach you a few moves first. You can learn them. Maybe you can defeat Grand Duke Peter yourself. Really? William was overjoyed. Of course. Moreover, you will be the head of the Parker family in the future. Naturally, you must have the power to suppress them. Although the abilities of the blood race are not bad, their fighting style is really terrible. If you learn these moves of mine and comprehend them properly, they will definitely be of great help to you. Thank you very much. Don't stand on ceremony. Take out your blood chain. Yes. William summoned his chain and handed it to Li Fan. Li Fan immediately taught him a few simple moves so that William would be able to learn them. That night, the two of them did not sleep at all. Moreover, Li Fan's training was more strict, and William had suffered a lot. In the morning, when the old butler passed by, he heard waves of male moans coming from William's room. He frowned. As expected of a dirty mixed blood. No wonder he brought a male blood slave here. It was for this kind of thing. Dirty. Despicable. At this moment, one of the leaders of the werewolves, Worf, led 20 like-minded subordinates and secretly came to the vicinity of Dawn Castle. Brothers, when the sun rises, we will break into Dawn Castle. Worf was blind in one eye. He had a head of long silver hair, a fierce face, and a strong body. Worf, you are the leader. Everyone will listen to you this time. A bald werewolf beside him was adjusting the crossbow in his hand, a cold smile hanging on the corner of his mouth. This time, we will definitely kill all these bugs. I specially got these crossbow bolts for killing bugs. Worf picked up a crossbow and inserted a bolt into it. The arrowhead is specially made of silver and smeared with the blood of the dead. It is extremely harmful to the blood race. Today, it's time for us to make our contributions. When we annihilate the Parker family, the committee will have to face our strength. Worf still had a few hand axes hanging on his waist. We will let the royal family know that it is useless to keep retreating. Only war belongs to our souls. Yes, war. Slaughter. All the werewolves became excited. Their eyes glowed red as if they could not wait any longer. Yes, we must kill. Worf laughed loudly. Let's go. The day will be the end of those bugs. He was very excited. These people were all battle-hardened warriors. Now that they had these crossbows, they would definitely be able to annihilate the Parker family. Other than Grand Duke Peter, they did not care about the rest of the blood race. However, Grand Duke Peter was only one person. There were 3 other Grand Dukes, but they did not live here. Right now, the Parker family was a lump of meat waiting to be eaten by them. It's about time. Everyone, follow me. After Worf finished speaking, he raised his crossbow and led the charge towards Dawn Castle. The 2 gargoyles above their heads sensed danger and woke up immediately. They flew down and pounced towards the werewolves. However, 2 of the werewolves transformed immediately and pounced on the gargoyles, fighting them. The rest of you, continue to attack. Yes. The group of werewolves pounced towards Dawn Castle as if they were on drugs. Some blood race guards ran out and fought with the werewolves, but they were all killed by their sharp claws and crossbows. Ha ha ha, see that? These little bugs can't even withstand a single blow. Worf laughed as he chopped off a blood race's neck. Then, like kicking a ball, he sent the head flying. Take down Dawn Castle. Kill. The group of werewolves became more and more courageous as they killed. They tore every blood race they encountered into pieces. However, at this moment, a blood-red chain suddenly flew out and locked onto a werewolf's body, dragging him over. Worf turned his head and saw a golden-haired man standing there. He held the chain in one hand and a scimitar in the other. He chopped off the werewolf's head directly. The path leading to the gate was sealed off by numerous chains. I'm sorry, you can't pass through here. William looked at the werewolves calmly and warned them. At this moment, Li Fan was standing on a tree at the side, secretly protecting William. With him around, William's life would not be in danger. Hee hee, someone is here to die. Go and kill him. Worf sneered and ordered a werewolf beside him. Chapter 1269. The werewolf started running, saliva dripping from his fangs. His eyes shone with a bloodthirsty light, as if he wanted to tear William apart. The fallen leaves around him danced in the wind as he ran. Everything seemed messy and violent. However, William's expression did not change. His mind was filled with the techniques that Li Fan had taught him throughout the night. Lock. Just as the werewolf was about to pounce on him, he suddenly threw out the chain and wrapped it around the werewolf's legs. The werewolf had been running wildly. At that moment, he lost control of himself and fell to the ground. He rolled forward for a long time and kicked up a large cloud of dust. William pulled the chain and dragged the werewolf, who was in a daze, back to him. Then, he cut off the werewolf's neck. Phew! It worked. William was happy. The techniques that Mr. Lee had taught him were indeed useful. He had taught him that his chain was actually a master of defense. With a chain as an absolute defense and a scimitar, he could sweep the world. Don't let this guy get too full of himself. Kill him. Worf continued to order. How could he let a blood-breed bug stop him? Behind him, 6 werewolves held crossbows that were the size of toy pistols and aimed at William. Pft, pft, pft. 6 crossbow bolts tore through the air and reached William in the blink of an eye. Bullet time. In front of William, the speed of the crossbow bolts immediately slowed down. Dang, dang, dang. William's chain condensed into a shield in front of him, blocking the crossbow bolts. Continue shooting. Kill him. Worf was a little unhappy. He ordered more werewolf warriors to join in the shooting. Hunt. But at that moment, a chain suddenly fell from the sky and wrapped around a werewolf's neck. It lifted him up and pulled him into the air. The werewolf struggled with all his might, but the chain became tighter and tighter. Finally, with a crack, the chain broke the werewolf's neck. His headless body fell and landed at Worf's feet. Worf's eyes widened. He could not understand. It was the werewolves who were hunting the blood breeds. Why was it the other way around now? Hunt. The chain fell again and wrapped around another werewolf's neck. The werewolf's expression turned from anger to terror. He struggled with all his might, but he was still lifted into the air. The chains tightened until the werewolf stuck out his long tongue and his eyeballs were about to split open. Damn it! Worf jumped up high, swung his sharp claws, and slashed at the chains. Clang! Sparks flew as the chain was torn apart by his sharp claws. His companion fell to the ground, but he had already been strangled to death. There was no breath coming in through his nose. Howl! All the werewolves let out mournful cries. Their howls echoed throughout Daybreak Castle, startling countless birds. Li Fan sat on top of the tree and nodded in satisfaction. William was quite smart. He used some of the techniques that he had taught him well. I, Werewolf Barkle, challenge you. A 3-meter-tall werewolf couldn't take it anymore. He charged at William. This werewolf's running speed was extremely fast and his strength was great. Every time he ran across the ground, he would leave behind deep wolf paw prints. Lock. William threw out the chain again and locked it at the werewolf's legs. However, Barkle was obviously on guard against this move of William's. He immediately jumped up high and dodged William's chain before pouncing at him. Barkle opened his claws and was ready to tear William into 2 pieces. However, at this critical moment, a relatively thin chain suddenly appeared in front of William. The chain was only as thick as a finger and blocked Barkle's path. Barkle was shocked, but he was pouncing at an extremely fast speed in the air. There was no way for him to stop. Pfft! The chain was like a sharp blade. When Barkle's neck hit it, it was sliced through. A werewolf's head flew up again, and the corpse fell beside William. He heaved a sigh of relief. This was a defensive move that Mr. Lee had taught him. It was specially used to deal with fast enemies. The faster the enemy was, the more ruthless the cut would be. Barkle. Worf's eyes were really bloodshot. Barkle was a general who had followed him for more than 10 years. He had slaughtered countless enemies and gone through hundreds of battles. However, today, he had died a tragic death with his head separated from his body. Who was this blood breed who used chains? Why hadn't he heard of his name before? Roar! At this moment, a little werewolf that was only about a meter tall suddenly jumped out from the grass and aimed at the back of William's neck. This little werewolf was also a type of werewolf variant. They were born thin and small, which made them very suitable for stealth hunting. This time, he had been lying in ambush here for a long time under Worf's instructions. He was waiting for the moment William revealed an opening and then he would kill him. Indeed, William did not notice. He did not even feel the danger approaching from behind. But while William did not notice, Li Fan was watching. He held a small stone in his hand and threw it. Pfft! The stone directly pierced through the little werewolf's skull, killing him in midair. Brain matter and blood splattered everywhere. This time, William heard a sound. He turned around and saw the little werewolf lying in a pool of blood. He was shocked and then rejoiced. If not for Mr. Li's help, the one who would have died would not have been this little werewolf, but himself. Mr. Li had saved him so many times. He had to repay this kindness. Retreat. Worf gritted his teeth and finally decided to leave. He had underestimated the Dawn Castle. He did not expect there to be such an expert here. And it was not just William. He was out in the open, but there was another expert in the dark. No, since we're here, we don't expect to leave alive. Although Worf had given the order to retreat, the other werewolves were already in a killing frenzy. Everyone, let's attack together and kill this damn bug. Roar, roar, roar. The remaining dozen or so werewolves threw away their crossbows and rushed toward William on all fours. But William smiled. Mr. Li had said that the more people there were, the more effective his chains would be. William stretched out his hand and the trap he had set up earlier took effect. In an instant, a net formed by chains appeared in front of him. The werewolves that were running toward him could not stop at all and directly rushed into the net. Some wrapped around their legs, some around their arms, and even their necks. These werewolves struggled with all their might, trying to break free. But none of them noticed that these chains were wrapped around each other's bodies. No matter how much strength they used, they were only exhausting each other's energy. It's over, Worf's face was pale. He knew that this time, it was their end. Chapter 1270. They had wanted to hunt down the blood breeds and take down Dawn Castle to show the committee what a real orc was. However, Worf did not expect that their plan would be destroyed the moment it started. There was only one blood breed, but he killed all of his companions with a chain. The struggling werewolves no longer had any energy left and soon stopped moving. William dragged them in front of him one by one and chopped off their heads. Enough! Worf roared as he watched his companions die one by one. The white-furred werewolf smashed the crossbow and roared. Worm of the blood breed. I'll be your enemy. Huh? Didn't you want to escape? William was surprised. Why did this guy go back on his word? Escape? I choose to fight with my comrades. Worf's gaze was firm. As werewolves, we'll live and die together. If we live, we'll eat the flesh of the blood breed. If we die, we'll hunt the souls of the blood breed. As he spoke, he ran to William. William shook his hand and threw the chain. However, Worf was much stronger than his companions. With a wave of his claws, he flicked William's chain away. The sunlight was Worf's companion. It weakened William's strength and prevented him from using most of his abilities. Worf had already seen through William's tricks. William's skills were mainly defensive, and the effective range of his defense was 3 to 10 meters around him. As long as he avoided his traps and got close to him, he would be dead. Worf was indeed a battle-hardened warrior. William was right about that. With a warrior's instinct for danger and superhuman reflexes, he avoided every chain trap. Finally, he rushed in front of William with a cold smile on his face. This time, he could kill the worm. Worf's wolf claws swept down, aiming for William's throat. He could already imagine the beautiful scene of him tearing William's neck apart. However, in the next second, his face darkened again. A chain wrapped around William's waist and pulled him back in an instant, out of Worf's attack range. William heaved a long sigh of relief. As expected, Mr. Li had foresight in every step. He asked William to make a safety measure for himself. It was this chain mechanism. From the very beginning, William had secretly chained himself and a tree beside him. In the nick of time, the chain activated and pulled itself away, dodging Worf's fatal strike. Damn little bug. Why don't you dare to fight me head-on? Worf was about to go crazy. William pursed his lips. If he fought Worf head-on, wouldn't he be dead? You're too shameless. Why don't you come and fight us at night? At night, the blood breed's battle prowess was multiplied by several times. I will definitely kill you. Worf roared and pounced on William again. But this time, William did not set up any traps. He threw the scimitar up, then grabbed a chain with both hands and swung it up. One end of the chain hooked onto the hilt of the scimitar and became one. William swung the chain and moved the scimitar, drawing a beautiful trajectory in the air as he charged at Worf. Worf was shocked. What kind of attack was this? His warrior's reflexes were activated. He instinctively stopped and jumped back. William's arms were wide open, his body shifting left and right. He moved the scimitar on the chain and spun it again, chasing after Worf. The scimitar was like a meteor chasing after the moon, chasing after Worf. Worf dodged and countered with his claws, bouncing William's scimitar away. However, William could quickly use the rebound force to swing the scimitar again. This time, it was faster and more powerful. Soon, Worf's body was covered in cuts. His stamina was getting weaker and weaker. In the end, his body was full of wounds and his strength was getting weaker and weaker. The chain suddenly wrapped around his neck, and the scimitar pierced into Worf's head. Plop! Worf knelt on the ground and stared at the scimitar above his head blankly. Was this the blood breed's attack method? Pfft! William swung the chain again and cut Worf's head open. He then pulled the scimitar back and sheathed it. The chain disappeared into thin air. All the werewolves had been killed. William heaved a sigh of relief. He was about to sit on the ground when Li Fan held him up with his primordial energy. Don't relax. Li Fan walked over and transmitted his voice to William. Is there anything else, Mr. Li? Someone is watching you. Li Fan gestured to the side with his lips. William looked in the direction of the door. Grand Duke Peter was looking at him with his arms crossed. Grand Duke, I didn't fail you. William immediately turned around and knelt in front of Grand Duke Peter. Not bad, Peter praised. I misjudged you. I didn't expect you to already have the strength of a duke. Your improvement almost made me forget that you're a mixed blood. Come, you've earned the chance to challenge me. Peter said and turned back to the hall. William and Li Fan exchanged glances. The opportunity had finally come. The two walked into the hall together. Just as they stepped in, the doors suddenly closed and the entire hall darkened. Dozens of Blood Tribe guards walked out, each holding a blood-colored weapon, staring at them like a tiger watching its prey. An elder wearing a black cloak walked out. He pointed at William and started cursing. You're a traitor who betrayed us. Today will be the day you die. William's expression changed drastically. Li Fan transmitted his voice to his ear to reprimand him, telling him to calm down. Yes, with Mr. Li by my side. William calmed down and asked. Grand Duke, Elder, I don't understand what's going on. Grand Duke Peter sat on the throne and tilted his head, looking at them with interest. The elder's eyes flashed with disdain as he sneered. Stupid, do you think I can't see it? You dirty mixed blood, you actually joined forces with a Chinese monkey. This is my blood slave. How can we join forces? William refused to admit it. Stop quibbling. Bastard. The elder scolded. This is the Chinese imperial sword. How can he be your blood slave? All right, I've been seen through. Li Fan raised his head and put his hands in his pockets. He looked at Peter. However, Peter, you personally promised to give William a chance to challenge him. Shut up. You monkey, what qualifications do you have to speak? The elder stomped his feet and cursed, but Peter waved his hand and stopped him. That's right. The people of the blood breed keep their promises. What I promised, I will naturally keep my promise. However, Li Fan, this is not a place you should be. Chapter 1271. Who didn't know the great name of the Shang Fang treasured sword? He defeated the strongest expert in Japan and brought glory to Huaxia. That video was spreading like wildfire on the internet. The current Li Fan was like a national idol. He was even more famous than a lot of fresh meats. Thus, it was not a surprise that he was recognized by this elder. Huaxia's Shang Fang sword has already been grounded. Especially the United States, the higher-ups have already issued an order to not allow you to step into this place, right? First of all, it's my freedom to go wherever I want. No one can control me. Li Fan put his hands in his pockets and said calmly, also, do you think I like to come to this broken place of yours? Hurry up and hand over my Lil Wan. Otherwise, I'll flatten this castle of yours. Impudent. Too impudent. The elder cursed angrily, a Chinese monkey actually dares. Before he could finish his words, Li Fan's figure appeared beside him out of nowhere and smiled at him. Following that, he raised his hand and gave the elder a slap. With a slap, the elder was dumbstruck and did not regain his senses for a long time. Everyone was shocked. When they looked over, Li Fan had already returned to William's side, as if he had never moved. You. The elder covered his face. The half of his face that was not slapped was unbearably red. He was ashamed and angry. The next time you speak nonsense, it won't be as simple as a slap. Since there was no need to hide, Li Fan completely revealed his domineering side. He was the little overlord. Was this title for nothing? After holding it in for a few days, he could finally vent it out today. Looks like the person who tarnished my daughter is you. He did not care about the elder's matter at all. He seemed to only care about his daughter. He looked at Li Fan, his eyes flashing with anger, as if he wanted to ignite Li Fan. What do you mean by tarnishing? Li Fan curled his lips. Lil Wan and I are truly in love, but you came out to tear us apart for no reason. Even if her bloodline isn't pure, Xiaowan is still a member of our Parker family. Peter ridiculed Li Fan. What qualifications do you have to touch a Parker family member? Furthermore, what right do you have to stand here and talk to me? Peter Parker, take a look. What's this? As Li Fan spoke, he took out the Bat family emblem and showed it to Peter. Peter shuddered at the sight of the family crest, but quickly recovered himself. I didn't expect you to be acknowledged by Prince Al. However, what did this mean? He doesn't care about what happens above us. I'm the one in charge of Dawn Castle. I have the final say in my daughter. Alright, I knew it wouldn't work. Li Fan put the family emblem back into his pocket. If that's the case, let's see who's the real deal. I know you're amazing, but are you sure that Lil One really has feelings for you? Of course. I know her feelings the best. Li Fan answered without hesitation. Alright, then I'll let you see. Peter clapped his hands. The door at the side slowly opened. A beautiful woman in a black dress gracefully walked out. She stood beside Peter. Her beautiful eyes turned and her gaze fell on Li Fan. Xiaowan. Li Fan was overjoyed. He finally saw her. Who are you? Xiaowan tilted her head slightly and asked Li Fan in English. Her eyes were filled with unfamiliarity. Fuck. Li Fan flew into a rage and scolded Peter. What did you do to her? Nothing much. I just turned her back into the precious daughter of the past. Peter laughed. This is our Parker family's woman. She can't be tainted. I won't let you off. Li Fan gritted his teeth, and a wave of anger continued to rise in him. If William can defeat me, I can consider restoring her memory. Peter narrowed his eyes and looked at them. How about it? Do you want to consider it? All right. William is also considered my disciple. Li Fan patted William's back. I believe in him. Great. Peter laughed heartily, but if you lose, I want all the blood in your body. Sure. This guy was indeed not ordinary. He could see the difference in his blood. Come, prepare the venue. Peter waved his hand. The surrounding vampires immediately moved to the side, leaving the living room space. Mr. Li. Can I really do it? William was still a bit nervous. Peter was the number 2 expert of the Parker family. Although Mr. Li could beat Al, but can he beat Peter? Don't worry. Use the skills I taught you well. Li Fan gave William a reassuring look. You are my disciple after all. Believe in your own strength. Yes, Mr. Li. William took 2 deep breaths. He then summoned his chain and held it in his hand. It was as if he felt safer with it. Well, do your best. Don't forget, you are a master of defense. Li Fan patted William's back. Go. Yes. William walked to the front and stood in the middle of the hall. Peter also slowly came down. He looked at William opposite him with a mocking smile. It was as if he did not put William in his eyes at all. Lu Wan-er stood on top and looked down curiously. Her eyes were filled with confusion. She was like a newborn baby, full of novelty to everything. William, you are a mixed blood. You are quite lucky to have the chance to stand in front of me. Peter's body emitted a dazzling blood light. This blood light flew into the air and slowly formed a blood cloud. Li Fan looked at the blood cloud above his head. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Damn it. This Peter's blood weapon is also very special. A blood cloud. What's going on? Come, William. Let's see how much you have grown. Peter said and pointed at William. 2 skeletal arms appeared under his feet and grabbed both of William's legs. Undead slave. This was the Grand Duke's dark magic. Peter's finger pointed downwards, and a blood-red lightning bolt struck down from the blood cloud, heading straight for William. William was shocked. Peter's ability was actually this? It was too heaven-defying. But William heard Li Fan's voice. Chain. William was not stupid. Li Fan's words reminded him. He immediately threw the chain in his hand. One end was thrown into the air and the other end was inserted into the ground. Kacha! The blood lightning struck the chain and was then guided into the ground, allowing William to escape from danger. Oh, not bad. Your reaction is very fast. Peter's expression was normal. But you are still a mixed blood. You are not worth mentioning. Is that so? While speaking, William suddenly appeared behind Peter. Don't look down on me, Grand Duke. Chapter 1272. Humph. Peter was about to make a move but found that his right hand had been locked by William's chain. A chain was locked to his right wrist and the wall next to him. Hit. Peter did not panic. He snorted coldly. The blood cloud above his head once again struck down a blood lightning, heading straight for William. But a blood net formed by chains appeared in the air. After the blood lightning struck it, it was directed by the chains to the surrounding castle walls. Peter frowned deeply. His powerful blood lightning ability was actually neutralized by this brat's chains. Grand Duke, I said, don't look down on me. So what if I'm a mixed blood, I can still defeat you purebloods. William said and directly launched the hunt. A chain suddenly fell from the sky and strangled Peter's neck. Peter grabbed the chain with his hand and pulled it hard, forcibly breaking the chain. Stupid. Peter scolded. A mixed blood is a mixed blood. Do you think you can defeat me like this? I'm a Grand Duke, the Grand Duke of the Parker family. Peter was almost invincible in his life. Only Al, who was more powerful than him, slept in the Dark Knight Castle all year round. But now, a mixed blood could beat him without the ability to fight back. Come out, undead slave. Peter broke the chain on his right hand and raised his left hand. The ground broke open and 3 skeleton warriors slowly climbed out. Each of the 3 skeleton warriors was carrying an iron shield and a steel knife. They attacked William together. "I've long expected this move of yours." William was very confident. Except for the blood cloud, all of Peter's moves had been deduced by Li Fan last night and told him the corresponding method. When the 3 skeleton warriors came out, William hooked the chains on the 3 of them and locked their legs together. These 3 skeleton warriors only had simple intelligence. Now that their legs were locked, they couldn't even realize it. They wanted to get close to William, but they tripped over each other and couldn't get up on the ground. Peter frowned deeply. The other party actually suppressed him. He was just a mixed blood and only a duke. He was a pure-blood Grand Duke. He was full of confidence, but now he began to worry. If this went on, wouldn't he lose? This was the challenge competition, and there were 10 elders watching from the surroundings. Once he lost, he wouldn't be able to go back on his words. "Grand Duke, you lost." William swung his hand, and the chains locked William's legs. "You won't win." Grand Duke Peter let out a furious roar, and the blood clouds in the sky suddenly flew down, entering Peter's nostrils and being sucked into his body. In the blink of an eye, William's chain net was the only thing left in the hall. Grand Duke Peter's body suddenly began to swell. He roared again, and 2 pairs of black wings suddenly popped out from his back. The clothes on his body were torn to shreds, and his originally fair skin became dark. The current Peter was like a huge bat monster. Body of the royal family. The surrounding elders discussed spiritedly. The Grand Duke can actually use his royal body. He's indeed a pure-blooded genius of our vampire race. So ugly, Li Fan finally understood why AR didn't use his royal status. This was simply a monster, ugly to the extreme. That bat face made people lose their appetite just by looking at it. After turning into a big bat, Peter seemed to have lost the ability to speak. He opened his bloody mouth and blew a supersonic wave at William. William couldn't react for a moment. The supersonic wave was too fast. But Li Fan kept his guard up. He didn't seem to make any movements, but he used his vital energy to pull William to the side. Bang! The wall at the side was smashed, revealing the sunlight outside. Many blood breeds hurriedly dodged to avoid being hit by the sunlight. "William, leave it to me." Li Fan used his vital energy to control William, and at the same time, he spoke into his ear. William immediately relaxed and let Li Fan handle it. He felt as if his body was being controlled, and then he started to move. Peter opened his mouth, and another supersonic wave swept across the ground, shooting towards William. William's body slid lightly, and he easily dodged Peter's supersonic wave. Peter stretched out his hands, grabbed 2 blood-colored spears, and threw them at William. The speed of the spears was extremely fast. They broke through the air and arrived in front of William in an instant. But William stretched out his hands and caught the 2 spears in his hands. Ordinary people didn't have such foresight and judgment. William used a special footwork and appeared in front of Peter in an instant. At the same time, he held the 2 spears and aimed them at Peter, and then he stabbed them upwards. Pfft! The 2 spears pierced into Peter's chest, and then he was lifted up high. Bang! William stabbed Peter's body and pushed him against the wall behind him, sticking him there. Peter roared and sent another supersonic wave at William. William lowered his body and dodged the supersonic wave. At the same time, he stretched out his right hand and pinched the big bat's mouth. William exerted force and directly dislocated Peter's jaw. He couldn't even use the supersonic wave anymore. Then, William pulled up one of the big bat's legs and lifted it up. There was a cracking sound, and then Peter screamed. Pfft! Then, William's right hand directly pierced through Peter's chest, and he forcefully dug out his heart and held it in his hand. The heart was still beating, and it was covered in red blood. "I'm sorry." William held the heart and said slowly to Peter, who was stuck on the wall, "From today onwards, the head of the family is me, William Parker." Peter returned to his original form, and he begged William in fear. Let me go. I'm willing to obey you. First, tell me how to recover Lil Wan." William asked. "I've sealed her mental strength. You just need to undo it," Peter hurriedly answered. "I see." William nodded, and then without hesitation, he crushed his heart. To the Blood clan, the heart was also an important part. Now that his heart was gone, Peter's face turned pale, and in the midst of his screams, he slowly turned into a dried corpse. "From today onwards, the family will be under my management." William stretched out his hand, and Li Fan handed Al's family emblem to him. "I've defeated Peter, and I have Prince Al's support. Now, who objects? You can step forward." "I don't agree." An elder immediately roared, "You're just a dirty mixed blood, you don't have the right." Before he could finish his words, a chain fell from the sky and strangled his neck, hanging him up and directly breaking his head. "Is there anyone else who objects?" William asked again. Chapter 1273. William. "Even if you use this method to control us, the other 3 Grand Dukes will not support you," an elder reminded William. "Why, are you looking down on my bloodline?" Under Li Fan's instructions, William directly sat on the throne of Dawn Castle. "Feel free to challenge me, I welcome you anytime. The 2nd-generation Grand Duke will come looking for you soon." The elder continued, "Grand Duke Conan is a pure-blood supporter, he has always been monitoring Dawn Castle. Now that Grand Duke Peter is dead, he will definitely bring the other Parker families to oppose you. Everyone, could it be that you are also supporters of pure blood?" William looked at the people present and said loudly, "Think about it, all these years, because of the pure blood, how much hardship have you suffered? Everyone here, you keep saying that you are pure blood, but who doesn't have illegitimate children? Think about it, is this really the life you want? You gave birth to them, but you let them live in secret? Everyone, the Parker family should be liberated, you should also be liberated. From today onwards, I announce that the Parker family will cancel the pure blood order. All clansmen can freely interact with other races, can openly raise their children. This is really a crazy decision," an elder looked at William in disbelief. "Racial discrimination is a kind of civilization backwardness." William unceremoniously ridiculed, "Even America can have a black president, why is our family forever stuck in the history of hundreds of years ago? If you do this, we can't support you." Some elders still resisted. "Not only us, no one in the family will support you, really?" William's voice became louder, "Those who are willing to support me, stand out." "I'm willing. I'm also willing." One by one, vampires walked in from outside, walked quickly to the hall, and knelt in front of William. There were no less than 100 people, all of them expressed their loyalty to William. You hateful mixed bloods." The elders were unbearably angry, they didn't expect these mixed bloods to jump out and support William. "We are hateful." William laughed heartily. "You old farts, have you had enough yet? Now, in the entire Parker family, only us mixed bloods are working. As for you so-called pure bloods, you sit on the top all day long, using our hard work to feed you. Without you, we can actually live a better life. Let me ask you again, who is willing to support me?" The meaning of William's words was very clear. Some pure-blooded blood breeds were also touched. Among these mixed bloods, there were more or less their children. Many purebloods also knelt before William. They naturally had to submit to a person who could even defeat Grand Duke Peter. During this time, Li Fan and Lu Wanner stood to the side and watched the show. Lu Wanner stood there in a daze, not making a sound, as if she did not understand anything. Li Fan was also slowly unlocking Lu Wanner's spirit seal. This kind of thing could not be forcefully broken, otherwise it would easily injure Lu Wanner's brain. As he dealt with the seal, he watched the commotion. William was indeed not simple. He had made a lot of preparations for today. Tie up the rest of those who don't support me. William ordered, and the rest of the people were all arrested. There were also many experts among the mixed bloods, from the Baron to the Marquis, and their combat effectiveness could not be underestimated. Are you going to kill us? The elder asked, trembling. Anyway, we are also people of the same race. I am not like you, so ruthless. From today onwards, you will live in the Dark Knight Castle. Throwing them into the Dark Knight Castle was basically equivalent to exiling these purebloods who did not support him. This was the only way William could think of. When they got there, Prince Alfred would naturally go to restrain them. Humph. You will not have a good end. A certain elder cursed viciously. That's not something you should worry about. From today onwards, the Parker family will change. As soon as William's words fell, a bat suddenly flew down from the top of his head. It flapped its wings and sent out a mental wave, so that every blood breeds present heard his voice. Including Li Fan, he also heard it clearly. Dirty mixed bloods, I am the second-generation patriarch Conan Parker. You are not qualified to be the patriarch. Sure enough, they are monitoring. William did not put this Conan in his eyes. You and the other 2 Grand Dukes have been expelled by Peter. I can even kill him, why would I be afraid of you? William now had full confidence. He had already controlled the Dawn Castle, there were a lot of resources here, he could quickly rise to the level of Grand Duke. In addition, with the kung fu taught by Li Fan, he would not be afraid of those blood breeds. He would not give up the position that he had won with great difficulty. What's more, just like what he said, in the Parker family, only the mixed bloods were working. The people above them were just a bunch of bastards who didn't do anything but sit and eat. He created a new rule, it would only make more mixed bloods come to him. Conan and the remaining few Grand Dukes, he did not have the slightest fear. You must return the patriarch position, otherwise I will bestow your punishment. Come on, second generation. William sneered, if you have the ability. But now, I still have a lot of things to deal with, I have no time to listen to your nonsense. Saying that, he stretched out his hand, activated the grip of darkness, and directly crushed the bat into minced meat. Alright, everyone, from today onwards, we will no longer be oppressed. Please continue to do your job, Dawn Castle will reward you according to your contributions. In the future, whoever contributes more to the family, will be able to obtain more resources and greater authority. Those who only enjoy the bloodline but do not work, will be banished to the Dark Knight Castle. William's decision received the support of the blood breeds present, they had been oppressed by the purebloods for too long, they had long been waiting for this day to come. Moreover, from today onwards, I invite Li Fan, Mr. Li, to be our Parker family's special consultant. From now on, he is our family's most distinguished friend, guest, and distinguished guest. William used these 3 words to describe Li Fan. Mr. Li, are you satisfied with this? Thank you, I am very satisfied. Li Fan nodded, then pulled Lu Wanwan, next is your matter, I will take Wanwan with me. If you need any help in the future, come to China to find me. Alright, may our friendship be everlasting. William was very excited, although he wanted to stay and entertain Mr. Li, he knew that Mr. Li must have his own things to do, so he did not want to waste his precious time. He watched as Li Fan pulled Lu Wan'er away, and secretly rejoiced in his heart for gaining Li Fan's friendship. Chapter 1274. I actually forgot so many things. Lu Wan'er covered her forehead as she sat on the armchair in the hall of the 7 Knights Villa. She rubbed her temples as if she had a headache. It's all right. Don't you remember now? Li Fan lovingly stretched out his hand and rubbed her hair. Don't run around in the future. Make me look for you all over the world. Yes, yes, my good husband. It's my fault. I shouldn't have hidden it from you. Lu Wan'er was also a little regretful. I also didn't expect that my family would suddenly come here and take me away. But, my father, is he really dead? Yes, William killed him himself. Li Fan cleanly pushed the blame away and refused to admit that it had anything to do with him. Forget it. If he's dead, then he's dead. Lu Wanner sighed. I never had any father-daughter relationship with him. He only wanted to wait for me to grow up and marry me to another vampire as a tool of exchange. Speaking of which, you'll awaken at 25. Do you want to be a vampire? Li Fan was afraid that Lu Wanner would be sad and deliberately changed the topic. No way. Drinking blood is disgusting. Lu Wanner shook her head repeatedly. Then do you have any way to get rid of the vampire bloodline? I've never heard of it. Since ancient times, no one has been able to do it. Li Fan's gaze fell on Dragon Girl who was snacking at the side. Have you heard of it? Don't ask me. How would I know about these barbaric things? Dragon Girl curled her lips. She has at least 2 or 3 years of good days. You should think about yourself first. You're no longer human. Dragon Girl's words made Li Fan silent. Lu Wanner found it strange and hurriedly asked. How is he not human? He ate my dragon and is already a half-dragon. Although I don't know how he survived until now, generally speaking, a human body can't contain the power of my dragon race. Dragon Girl also found it strange. In the past, someone accidentally ate a piece of dragon meat and mutated into a demon beast. It's really strange that you can stay the same. Don't worry. I'm fine. My body has long since ceased to be human. Li Fan laughed bitterly. You don't have to worry about me. I will strive to live longer than you. Al had once said that his lifespan far exceeded that of ordinary people. But no one knew exactly how much it had exceeded. Humph. Who's worried about you? I'm just lazy. I don't want to find another Shangfang sword. As the dragon lady spoke, she stretched her body. Now that you're back, you should properly take care of the 7 Heroes Villa's matters. When you weren't around, it was Lin Yuhsin who took a leave of absence from school to help you. That little girl was busy running all kinds of business for you. You have to thank her properly. Of course. Li Fan would definitely thank Lin Yuhsin properly. With the help of such a smart girl, many things could be done with half the effort. In short, the outline of the villa is almost done. Pick a good day and we can open the mountain and establish the sect. Li Fan was still a little happy. Although he was shouldering the burden of the martial arts world, no matter what, he had trained from an ordinary high school student to his current level. It was also a kind of progress and breakthrough. If Muronging was still by his side, would she be proud of him? Because of the new policy, the Martial Arts World Assembly had been cancelled. Muronging, the leader of the martial arts world, had become a kind of masterpiece. Brother-in-law, I've already picked a day. Murong ran out of the room with a yellow calendar in her hand. Let's do it next Monday. It's an auspicious day and it's suitable to open the mountain and establish the sect. You've worked hard. Li Fan touched her hair again. Murong looked like she was enjoying it. Currently, who are the experts in my 7 Heroes Villa? Even Li Fan couldn't remember, so he asked. Xia Ho had been standing at the side. She had just come from the escort agency 2 days ago. The reason why she didn't help Lin Yuhsin with the work of the villa was that Fifan Escort Agency was also busy with the relocation. Now that the headquarters of the escort agency had been moved to the villa, it would be easier to manage. When she heard Li Fan's question, she stepped forward and answered softly. Now, the 7 Heroes Villa is divided into the inner sect and the outer sect. The head of the inner sect is you, Li Fan. The left guardian Guan Wenbao, the right guardian Yen Kai, and the great Zen master Bodhi. Li Fan muttered in his heart. Currently, this frivolous great Zen master was still on the Li family island. Okay, continue. Yes, there's also discipline elder Qin Junhua, training elder imperial concubine Zhou, and welcoming elder Xia Ho. Mount Hua had basically become a tourist attraction. The Mount Hua sect master decided to let Qin Junhua stay in the 7 Heroes sect to ensure the final strength of Mount Hua. The training elder position was just an idle position, so it wasn't a problem to hand it over to imperial concubine Zhou. But welcoming elder, it didn't sound too comfortable. Little senior sister, have you considered changing jobs? Li Fan asked. There has to be someone in the inner sect to receive foreign guests. I'm worried about handing this job to someone else. Xia Ho gave Li Fan a sweet smile. In the future, the Seven Heroes sect will definitely be full of distinguished guests. How can I not handle it personally? That's true. Continue. Okay. Next is Butler Yang Shueyue, Chief Escort Big Dipper, Head Disciple Lu Xiaohu, Second Disciple Jiang Yi, and Third Disciple Abe Haruko. Jiang Yi was also sitting at the side and was a little unconvinced. Master, I've decided to choose another day to compete with senior brother. Lu Xiaohu laughed. You'll still lose no matter how many times we fight. Abe Haruko was also there. She was very obedient and didn't say anything. Now that the three major families of Japan only existed in name, Li Fan didn't care if she stayed or left. But she still decided to stay and learn martial arts from Li Fan. There's also the alchemy room manager, Luo Xiaofeng. Yes, give him an alchemy room and he won't come out for a lifetime. Luo Xiaofeng of Medicine King Valley was indeed a madman in alchemy. It was because of his rejuvenation pill that he was able to win in the competition. Then there's the outer sect. They're responsible for the tourism, food, accommodation, and other businesses. The president of the villa is Lu Wan, the general manager is Lin Yuhsan, and the public relations is Liao Wushuang. The security director is Huang Lei, Wang Tofu. The medical director is Miss Takeda Lan. After reporting these, Xia Ho bowed to Li Fan. Sovereign, above is the list of the upper echelons of our Seven Heroes Villa. What about me, what about me? Murong Ai stretched out her hand. Li Fan patted her head. You'll be the mascot of the villa. Pay. Murong Ai was furious. Brother-in-law is looking down on me. Oh right, the villa also has a spokesperson. They are Shin Chen, Jiang Yuan, and Jiang Fangfang. Xia Ho filled in the 3 spots. As for Xiao Ai, Sister Xia Ho, Murong Ai looked at Xia Ho pitifully. Chapter 1275. Xia Yi also doted on this little girl. She thought hard and her eyes lit up. How about I set up a League of Legends department for you? Sister Xia Yi. Murong's face was bitter. What kind of department is this? Alright, you are considered my family member, how can you work in the League of Legends? Li Fan comforted her. Sister Xiaowan, and Imperial concubine Zhou are also your family members. Such blunt words caused Lu Wanner to blush. Imperial concubine Zhou's face did not change, but she was happy. You are still young, when you are a few years older, I will find a good job for you. Using these kind words to coax me again. Murong pouted, since the establishment of the dojo, I have helped a lot. Don't forget me, brother-in-law. Well, how about this? Li Fan stretched out his hand and took out the hero's sword that he had been treasuring until now. This sword was given to him by Dong Yi, and legend has it that it was Lu Jinchan's sword. Come, you take this hero's sword. Oh. Murong took the hero's sword, not knowing what her brother-in-law was going to do. From today onwards, you are my sword elder, responsible for taking care of the hero's sword for me. If someone does something against the sect, you will be the one to punish him, how about it? Good, this is good. Murong was overjoyed, this time she was happy. As for Jiang Yi, she also has my extraordinary sword. Don't call her second disciple, it is not nice. Her and Xiaohu's martial arts are almost the same. From today onwards, she is my sword elder. Similarly, if there are any disobedient disciples, you can teach them a lesson on my behalf. Yes, master. Jiang Yi was satisfied and gave Lu Xiaohu a provocative look. As for Abe Haruko, you will be the outer disciple. In the future, there might be a lot of disciples from other countries, they are not familiar with Chinese culture, so you will take care of them. Disciple understands. Abe Haruko cupped her hands at Li Fan. She was happy. At least Li Fan didn't forget about her. In addition, Dong Yi, the person in charge of the 11 cavalrymen in Yanjing, also wants to return to Gui Manor. What position do you plan to give him? Xavier asked. Brother Dong is coming back. Li Fan thought about it. Now that most of the escort agency's business was on the right track, he probably wanted to help him with the villa's business. He has great foresight and is an intelligent person. Li Fan thought for a moment. My villa doesn't have any other halls, so let's set up one. Let's call it Yanjing Hall and let Big Brother Dong be the hall master. The Yanjing 11 cavalrymen will still be under his management, and he will be given the same level of authority as me. This was absolute trust. Li Fan also wanted to show his sincerity to Dong Yi. All right. Xia Yi nodded and did not object. After all, the Beijing 11 cavalrymen had cooperated with them for so long, and they had Mr. Big Dipper overseeing them for so long. In terms of sincerity, they had no reason to be picky. What about me? Aren't you going to give me a job? Lu Zhu suddenly asked. Little brother, can you resign from the demonic sect first? Li Fan could not help but roll his eyes. Do you still want to do a part-time job? Hee hee, my good big brother, what's the difference between your sect and our sacred sect now? Lu Zhu winked at Li Fan. Both are despised by the righteous sects, and both are enemies of the 4 major families. Get lost. How can we compare? Li Fan stood up and invited his chair. Why don't you take this seat? Forget it. Not everyone can sit on the 7 Knights sect master's seat. Lu Zhu waved his hand. But it's quite lively here. You took in me, a demonic sect disciple, and that sword reliance survivor. Hey, what are you talking about? Jin Hisao, who was sitting at the side, was unhappy. He stood up and glared at Lu Zhu. Don't confuse me with a demonic brat like you. What's the difference between us? We all rely on the 7 Knights sect's protection to survive. Lu Zhu retorted. Jin Hisao was speechless for a long time, his body trembling in anger. All right, stop quarreling. It's not easy for us to gather together. Shouldn't we be happily discussing our plans? Li Fan was smug. Although we can only establish our sect in a few days, we'll officially send out invitations from today onwards. The 7 Knights sect will start recruiting disciples regardless of age, background, or race. There's only one requirement, and that is to have a good character. In addition, we are willing to protect those who are willing to join our 7 Knights sect as long as they're not evil. Li Fan. Have you thought it through? When Lu Zhu heard this, she was speechless. If you do this, it's equivalent to going against the current policy. So what? Li Fan displayed his arrogance. I'm the Imperial Sword. I'll ensure the safety of the region. Dragon God number 1 is about to take off. How can I not nurture a powerful force? Li Fan, Lu Zhu was a little annoyed. Why can't you use your brain? You've spent so much effort to help them, but in the end, they might not appreciate it. As long as I act according to my conscience, I don't need them to appreciate it. This was Li Fan's personality. Lu Zhu wanted to say a few more words, but Murong hurriedly interrupted. All right, Lu Zhu, don't say any more. Don't you know brother-in-law's temper? I've been with brother-in-law for so many years, through all the ups and downs. Once he's decided on something, even a few cows can't pull him back. Sigh. You're such a good person. Lu Zhu looked at Li Fan, seemingly thinking about something. I've made up my mind. Li Fan had already made up his mind. Little senior sister. Elder Xia, do as I say. All right. Xia Ho understood Li Fan's temper and knew that his decision would not be changed. Lu Zhu shook her head, but she had already made up her mind. That night, she found Chen Junhua and secretly discussed some matters with him. Summer. In the hot June, when the college entrance exam was approaching, the 7 Heroes Villa officially opened its doors. Many young men and women who had dreams of being a martial artist embarked on a journey to the Seven Heroes Villa to learn the martial arts of the Seven Heroes sect. Not only martial artists, but also many martial arts experts who had nowhere else to go, came to the Seven Heroes Villa to become the guests of the villa. The little overlord, Li Fan, was famous in the martial arts world for his righteousness. Although the commander of the imperial army, Sima Hui, was gnashing his teeth in hatred, there was nothing he could do. He received news that the remnants of the martial arts world, Yijin Shao Qing Feng and riding horseback whistling West Wind, had come to the Seven Heroes Villa. This Seven Heroes Villa had openly become a place for these criminals. If this goes on, sooner or later, we will be trampled on by them. Sima Hui gnashed his teeth in hatred. He waved his hand. Go, invite Jiang Feng here. Chapter 1276. Jiang Feng went into seclusion for a period of time. During this period of time, he had a hard time. The changes in the martial arts world were both opportunities and obstacles for him. The huge Murong's house was in a half-dead state. Murong Bo also went into seclusion all day long and ignored outsiders. Muronging was overseas and did not know when she would come back. During this period of time, he searched everywhere for news of his sister, but it was like a stone in the sea. Jiang Feng used Zhang Guo's background to climb up the social ladder of some influential people. Through their connections, Jiang Feng also became a member of the imperial army. Moreover, his official position was not low. He held the position of a sergeant and was in charge of the entire Ji province. Originally, it was to target Li Fan, but who would have thought that Li Fan would go to the Spanish Equine to establish his own faction? He could not reach Li Fan in a short time, so he could only shut himself in the seclusion room to cultivate and train his martial arts. Even if he was unwilling to admit it, it was a fact that Li Fan was far stronger than him. When Jiang Feng was in seclusion, his mind was in a mess. He was clearly much stronger than Li Fan in the past, but why was he getting worse and worse? I can't accept this. Jiang Feng sat cross-legged on a small pavilion in the middle of a lake. He was surrounded by the gurgling sound of water and the lake was full of lotus flowers. But this could not make up for the pain in Jiang Feng's heart. He was only thinking about how to surpass Li Fan, defeat Li Fan, and get rid of this thorn in his side. Jealousy was like a burning flame, burning in Jiang Feng's heart. Why could he be stronger than him?